Mr. Sergeant of Arms, invite the members into the chamber and close the doors. I hereby declare the House of Representatives of the 114th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee now in session. Would the members please stand? With the visitors and the gallery please stand and remain standing to the Pledge of Allegiance. Representative Doggett will serve as chaplain of the day. Representative Doggett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning, everyone. Let's go to God in prayer. Our Holy Father in heaven, we thank you for this day of life, for your love, your grace, your mercy, your patience, and your forgiveness. Father, we thank you for this great opportunity, this honor that you have bestowed upon us to come and represent the voices of the people of our districts in this great state. Father, we pray for wisdom and discernment as we navigate through legislation today, Father. We want to pray for those in our communities that are hurting, that are grieving over the loss of those that they love, that are on difficult times, Father. We pray that if it be thy will, you would give them the strength and the things that they stand in need of. Father, we thank you for all the wonderful things of this life that you've given us. We thank you most of all for your Son, Christ Jesus, who came and died on the cross for the remission of our sins. And it's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
Representative Doggett will lead us in Pledge of Allegiance.
Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Clerk, please take the roll.
Roll call.
Ms. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. Speaker, 89 members present.
Let the journal reflect Representative Towns, Baum, and Garrett are excused. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Welcoming, honoring, and announcements.
Welcome, honor, and announcements. Representative Gillespie, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As many of y'all know, I'm getting married later this year, and today I just wasn't expecting that. And I just wanted to wish my future sister-in-law, Kelly Daniel, a very happy birthday.
Representative Pearson.
Thank you, Speaker and colleagues. There's a gentleman by the name of Mr. Tony Carruthers who's currently sentenced to death on May the 21st of this year in the state of Tennessee. And there is not been a testing of all DNA evidence. He had to represent himself at trial. And if he were to be executed by our state, he would be the first person who represented himself at trial to be executed in the last 100 years. And so there's a petition that is going around for Mr. Tony Carruthers so that he could get a fair trial, that all DNA evidence would be tested, and also requests that the governor stay the execution until that happens. Through exonerations over the last many years and the work of Brian Stevenson at the Equal Justice Initiative, it's been found that 10% of people on death row could be exonerated. We should not kill innocent people, and so I ask that you support the push for the governor to not kill him.
Representative Alexander.
Thank you, Speaker. Today I've been married 36 years today, so I'm going to wish my husband, Howie Alexander, happy anniversary. Thank you for always supporting me.
Representative Bain.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a shadow with me today. His name is Jackson McClellan, and he goes to Central Magnet School in Murfreesboro, so please give him a warm welcome.
Representative Barrett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I would just like to welcome to the floor. We have a page with us today, Andy Starcher, behind the glass here in the sparkly jacket from Lewis County High School. Y'all make her welcome and put her to work today.
Representative Howell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, if you'll allow me to brag on my wife, Beverly, for just a moment. She was just named the Polk County Chamber of Commerce Volunteer Diplomat of the Year. Congratulations, Beverly.
All right, anyone else under welcoming, honoring announcements? Representative Salinas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday marked 2 months since Yasser has been in detention. So he's missed 2 months of school already. I didn't give an update last week because he was denied visitation, even though he is entitled to 1 visit per week. Last week, the facility didn't give him a visitation. So I was able to meet with him on Saturday. He's incredibly sad, especially as the year ends. He's missed his TCAP, which is what his classmates are currently doing. So if you can continue to keep him in your prayers, and if there's anything that y'all can do to help him get out and get back to school, that would be great.
All right, welcome, honor announcements. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Introduction to resolutions.
Leader Lambert, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move that all resolutions properly filed be introduced pursuant to rule number 17 and placed on the consent calendar and refer to the appropriate standing committee.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Senate Joint Resolutions congratulatory memorializing.
Leader Lambert, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move that all Senate joint resolutions congratulatory memorializing line of that has to be placed on the consent calendar pursuant to rule number 17.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Resolutions laying over.
Leader Lambert, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move that all resolutions line over be referred to the appropriate standing committee.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Introduction to bills, Senate bills on first consideration, Senate bills on second consideration, House bills on second consideration.
Leader Lambert, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move that House Bills 2670, 2671 be passed on second consideration, be held on the desk, referred to the appropriate standing committee.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Petitions and memorials, reports from standing committees, reports from select committees, calendars. Mr. Speaker, the House has a consent calendar.
Chair Lady Moody, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of the consent calendar on third and final consideration in keeping with Rule 50.
Chair Lady moves passage of the consent calendar. Probably second to Mr. Clerk. Any objections been filed?
Mr. Speaker, item 42, House Resolution 241 has been objected to by Leader Lambert. Item 52, House Joint Resolution 1514 has been objected to by Chairman Russell. Item 73, House Joint Resolution 1535 has been objected to by Leader Lambert.
All right. Anyone seeking recognition on the consent calendar? Seeing none. Any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of the consent calendar vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. As every member votes, the member wish to change vote. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 87, no nays, 1 present, not voting.
Having received a constitutional majority, I declare consent calendar passed without objection. Motion to reconsider is tabled. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, at the time of recess, the House is ready to consider item 12 on yesterday's calendar. Item 12, House Bill 1946 by Leader Love relative to artificial intelligence. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Leader Lambert, for what purpose?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to the heel of today's calendar.
There's objection. We're on the board. All those in favor of moving House Bill 1946 to the heel of the calendar vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. Ms. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 65, 17 nays.
Roll to the hill. Next. The hill of today's calendar. Yes. Next bill. Yeah.
Item 13, House Bill 397 by Representative Vital relative to sales and use taxes.
Representative Vital, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of House Bill 397 on third and final consideration.
Representative Vital moves passage. Probably second. Ms. Clerk, call it First Amendment.
House Finance, Ways and Means Committee Amendment Number 1.
Chairman Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment rewrites the bill. Move to adopt and defer to the sponsor for further explanation.
Chairman Hicks moves adoption of Committee Amendment Number 1. Probably second. Any discussion on amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of adopting Committee Amendment Number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Representative Vital, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, House Bill 397 is on behalf of Finley Stadium in Chattanooga. Finley Stadium has served the community for over 30 years. It's the home of UTC football and UTC women's soccer stadium. This bill would redirect part of the tax revenue generated by the stadium back to the stadium. This will allow Finley Stadium to undertake capital maintenance and other improvements. Special thanks to the Department of Revenue for their work in helping us reconcile this bill with Finley's location within an existing tourism development zone. And with that, I renew my motion.
Representative Vital renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can you talk about the makeup of the board? I'm assuming it's got a bunch of statewide folks on it and people from Nashville that go up and get to enjoy games. Is that an accurate reflection of the makeup of the board?
Representative Vital.
Thank you. The makeup of the board is composed of individuals from Chattanooga who have been involved for many, many years.
Representative Freeman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would you be willing to roll this a couple of spaces so we can discuss what it would look like to add some people from outside of Chattanooga on the board that may regional approach? Because I'm assuming people outside of Chattanooga go to games there, correct?
Representative Vital.
I'm not quite sure who goes. I haven't stood at the ticket desk.
I would take that as a no. Representative Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I make a motion to roll this 4 spaces.
There's objection. We're on the board. All those in favor are rolling House Bill 397, 4 spaces. Vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Ms. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 47, 68 nays. I'm sorry, ayes 20, 68 nays.
Motion fails. Representative Martin, you're recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I move the previous question.
Previous question been called. There's objection. We're on the board. All those in favor of previous question, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 68, 21 nays.
Previous question prevails. We're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 397 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 78, 10 nays, 3 present, not voting.
House Bill 397 has received a constitutional majority. I hereby declare passed without objection. Motion to reconsider is tabled. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk.
Item 14, House Bill 1847, Representative Butler, relative to data centers.
Representative Butler, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of House Bill 1847 on third and final consideration.
Representative Butler moves passage by executive. Mr. Clerk, call the First Amendment.
House Commerce Committee Amendment Number 1.
Chairman Vaughn, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and friends. This amendment rewrites the bill, so we're going to move to adopt it.
Chairman Vaughn moves adoption of Committee Amendment Number 1. Probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of Committee Amendment Number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Amendment 2 by Representative Butler. Mr. Speaker, it was timely filed.
Representative Butler, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment actually moves the effective date up. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I move for adoption.
Representative Butler moves adoption of Amendment Number 2. Probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. Any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting on the board. All those in favor of adopting Amendment Number 2, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 92 nays.
Amendment Number 2 is adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Representative Butler, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for adoption. Oh, thank you, Mr. Speaker. So as the bill is amended, this 1847 actually puts some guardrails around data centers to protect consumers And with that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Representative Butler renews his motion. Discussion on the bill. Representative Pearson.
Thank you, Speaker and sponsor. And initially, I was completely supportive of this legislation and had a chance to review it and to read it. But then there were some amendments that were put on as this was followed through in committee that concerned me. And I also reached out to some colleagues and some attorneys at the Southern Environmental Law Center about this. And Trey Bussey was one of those attorneys who I've worked with. And I think myself, maybe there are a couple other legislators who are focused a lot on data centers, the energy they require, the illegal polluting that they are doing. I have one in my community, one of the largest ones in the world, that illegally polluted the air that my constituents breathe, and now they're in South Haven, Mississippi. And so I've been working on the issue of data centers for about 2 years now, and there are some glaring problems, I think, with the way that this legislation is currently crafted. And if I could use some of Trey's words here, we know that data centers require a large amount of power. It is important that local power companies have some authority over how they operate and how they function. And we know that local power companies, MLGW, TVA, have spent huge sums of money to build new infrastructure, whether they be substations, transmission upgrades, or even power plants. And TVA, which we're under, right, has recently raised rates nearly 10% on everyone to keep up with the load growth largely powered by data centers. And TVA appears to be heading for more increases soon. Now, when this was initially drafted, I do believe that it was designed to protect Tennessee families. It said data center owners and operators, which included the biggest tech companies in the world, must pay their own way. We had, and our attorneys had some concerns about the enforceability because, as you all know, the TVA is regulated federally. But this amendment, what we're currently looking at, now only applies to data centers that are 100 megawatts. So these are the largest data centers in our state. This is no longer about all data centers that we're dealing with. So the vast majority of data centers that are in your communities, in mine, and that will likely not be impacted by this legislation. And then the amendment makes a general statement about protecting residents, but has several exceptions to the rule, allowing local power companies to reimburse data centers for infrastructure costs, and a utility can charge residents for infrastructure built for data centers, even if there's just a marginal benefit to residents. And so as long as your power company says, well, by doing this for this data center, it's actually going to benefit residents, they can then increase the rates of our constituents, of our community members. And so even though the original intent, sponsor, was to protect the people in our communities, ultimately there are enough exceptions within the legislation that allow for utilities to still build infrastructure for private companies and put that cost back on our constituents. The last two thoughts here is that this amendment has authorized independent power plants to be set up all over the state to sell directly to the big tech data centers without oversight from the Public Utility Commission and with little to no guardrails. So our families will have to be subsidizing these data centers because our utilities will be able to say there's some marginal benefit to the public, and they can say it's tax money or something like that, which I have seen even back home, while we continue to deal with, and our constituents are going to continue to deal with, air pollution, water pollution, and noise pollution in particular, and including the increase to their own bills. There's also not a provision for transparency within this legislation to know exactly what people are going to be paying for when it comes to the substations and other things that are accommodating the data centers. And so I do believe there's a need to protect Tennesseans from the rising cost of data centers. I'm supportive of the things that are going forward at the national level, potentially for a moratorium. But my colleagues, although the intention initially of this legislation was to protect our constituency, there are so many exceptions that ultimately are not going to protect the folks that we want and we care to serve. There's an exception for how big the data centers are that are going to be underneath this regulation. There's very little transparency, and there's also an opportunity for utilities to still pay for infrastructure of a private company while then still having our constituents to pay for that cost. And so this isn't really going to address the problem. And so I want to thank Trey and the Southern Environmental Law Center and the people in my community have been fighting data centers for a long time and ask that we might reconsider this legislation. Thank you.
Representative Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I do want to correct what we just heard. The current amendment limits the data centers to 50 megawatts, not 100 megawatts. That was the most recent amendment. I think you're about 3 amendments ago. So it does provide safeguards for protecting our consumers and our ratepayers. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Clemens, were you?
Go ahead.
No. Representative McCalman.
Thank you, Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question been called. Is there objection? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 1847 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has there a member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 76, 14 nays, 1 present, not voting.
House Bill 1847 has received constitutional majority, hereby declared passed without objection. Most reconsider table. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 162 by Chairman Crawford and others relative to taxes. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 0198.
Chairman Crawford moves to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 198, properly seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Crawford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 0198 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Crawford moves passage of Senate Bill 198 on third and final consideration. Properly seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment number 1, same as Senate Amendment number 1.
Vice Chairman Wright, you're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Same as Senate amendment, move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1, drawn. Next amendment, Mr.
Mr.
Clerk.
Speaker, no further amendment.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I renew my motion.
Chairman Crawford renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objections to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 198, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 88, no nays.
Senate Bill 198, having received constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed by objection. Most reconsider table. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2080 by Chair Lady Littleton relative to Tennessee Education Lottery Corporation. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Chair Lady Littleton, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1723.
Chair Lady Littleton moves substitute and conform Senate Bill 1723, properly seconded without objection. So ordered. Chair Lady Littleton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1723 on third and final consideration.
Chair Lady Littleton moves passage of Senate Bill 1723 on third and final consideration. Properly seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment number 1, same as Senate Amendment number 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to withdraw.
Without objection, Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chair Lady Littleton, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I renew my motion.
Chair Lady Littleton renews the motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objections? Nope. Chairman Clemens, do you want to be recognized?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. What's the impetus behind this legislation? What's the need to vacate or reconstitute this?
Chair Lady Littleton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It vacates and reconstitutes the Tennessee Lottery Board effective July the 1st, 2026, increases from 7 to 9. The governor would get 3, the Speaker of the House 3, and Lieutenant Governor 3
Chairman
board
Clemens.
members.
Hey, Mr. Speaker, is there something going wrong with the lottery corporation now? Is it running incorrectly? What's the real concern here? Is it the next governor getting appointees, or what is it?
Chair Lady Littleton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're just trying to make sure that it's diversified, professional expertise, geography, and demographic representation consistent with the mission of the corporation.
Chairman Clemens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And that's not represented right now. We don't have adequate representation on the board. I mean, it seems to be working pretty well, other than us continuing to steal money for it to pay for too many things. But what's the problem with the board? It seems to me that you're trying to neuter the next governor here.
Shirley Littleton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're just hoping that with each of them having three board members, that it'd be more diversified and more geographic and go for the regions, the three, like middle, west, and east.
Chairman Clemens.
Give each of them three.
Yep, Chairman Clemens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Warner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question be called. Is there objection? Seeing none, we're on the board. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1723, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 60, 28 nays.
Senate Bill 1723, having received a constitutional majority, hereby declare it passed by objection. Most reeks here stable. Vote next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1497 by Chairman Siddiqui relative to elections.
Chairman Speaker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of House Bill 1497 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Speaker moves passage. Public Secretary, Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Finance, Ways and Means Committee Amendment number 1 filed as House Amendment 2.
Chairman Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment rewrites the bill. Move to adopt and defer to the sponsor for further explanation.
Chairman Hicks moves adoption. Committee Amendment number 2. Probably seconded. Any discussion on amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of Committee Amendment number 2 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopt it. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Amendment 3 by Representative Johnson. Mr. Speaker, was timely filed.
Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What this amendment does is remove the city of Knoxville from this bill. Our elections are a minor cost for democracy. Cost savings to cities, our budget for elections is 0.06% of Knoxville's budget, averaged over 2 years to reflect non-election years. In contrast, Knox County spends 0.23% of their budget on election commission. The city will still need to contribute to the cost of elections, whether they're held in even or odd years. And it's important to note, city voters and residents pay taxes to both the city and the county. The voters should choose charges to their elections as established in our charter, the authority of which is granted by the state. Let our city council bring this to the voters through workshops and a ballot initiative, rather than a state order to override and change our charter retroactively. And the effective date, why can't this be effective in a time frame to honor our term limits? Our term limits are the will of the voters. Adding a year to everyone's term is not necessary and in opposition to voter will. What's going to happen is we just elected 5 new representatives, and passage of HB 1497 will give them automatic 5-year terms rather than the 4-year terms voters clearly understood and voted for. So this bill is not the will of the voters and is being forced onto the city of Knoxville. And the city is not completely opposed to this. We just like to do it on a timeline that wouldn't create 5-year terms that no one signed up for and no one voted for. So we would move to remove the city of Knoxville from this legislation. I move adoption of this amendment.
That's Representative Johnson moves adoption of amendment number 3. Probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Representative Warner, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker, I move previous question.
Previous question been called. Is there objection? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of amendment number 3, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 2071 nays.
Amendment number 3 fails. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Speaker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Renew my motion.
Chairman Speaker, renews the motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I would say this is probably one of the most consequential bills of the year because it it affects all of our city and county elections. So as this bill's traveled through the committee process, I've actually seen it at every step, and have the sponsor and I have worked back and forth to try to get this in a better spot. So I appreciate the sponsor working with me on it, even though I still have a few issues with the bill. But let me say this, just so we can have some questions to get these on the record. So the bill as amended gives everyone until the year 2030 to get into compliance. Is that correct?
Chairman Spicki.
That is correct.
Representative Powell.
And the bill no longer, the partisan portion of the bill is completely removed. Is that correct?
Chairman Spicki.
That is correct.
Representative Powell.
Thank you. And then also, you have given the option, because I represent a city where election is supposed to take place next year in 2027. So if that is the case, then the city has the option to choose an election, to have an election in 27, and then choose to have those terms to be just 3 years if they want. They could also choose a 5-year, but I would strongly favor and encourage all of our cities and counties to limit the term, not increase the term. But at least if the term is changed, the voters will know before they vote how long the next term is. Is that correct?
Chairman Spicki.
Just to clarify, what the bill does, it gives two options to the local governing body. Either you can, in 27, you can extend those terms 1 year to 28, or you can have your elections in 27 with a 3-year abbreviated term to 30. Therefore, in the state of Tennessee, everybody will be synced up by 2030.
Representative Powell.
Okay. And we also had some questions about the runoffs that we went back and forth on. So as the bill is drafted, the way it is now, if a city was to have an election in August, they could then have their election in August in an even number year and have their runoff in November. Is that correct?
Chairman Spicki.
Yes, sir.
Representative Powell.
Okay. And I obviously think it's always best for our locals to decide and leave it up to our locals. But I realize this bill had a lot of momentum and support. So I appreciate the sponsor. We're kind of working together to try to make this as I feel like as good as we can make it. I'll also say my other concern is, as we see so many elections on one ballot. I mean, we've just now heard all these resolutions, the constitutional amendments, and how lengthy those are. You have the president, gubernatorial elections, Senate elections. My concern is voter fatigue and people, as they go down the ballot, starting to drop off as they vote for president, move down to Senate, governor, and so forth, so they get to the city elections. So I would hope that, particularly in my city, that we would schedule an election in 2030, not in a presidential election year, because I think that makes it even more difficult. But with that being said, this still allows for that August election and then November runoff, and it's set across the board. So now, once these odd number year elections are over, everybody will be synced to even number years, and there will be no more odd year elections. Is that correct?
Chairman Spicki.
That is correct.
Representative Powell.
All right. Well, I hope that I do hope we have higher turnout, obviously, in even number election years. So I do think in some ways this will encourage even more turnout and more people to vote, because oftentimes we have problems getting people to turn out for these city elections. And so even though I have fears about the ballot fatigue, my hope is at the very end of the day, more Tennesseans will choose to participate in their city elections. And one last question. If a voter goes into the poll to vote in a city election and they have to say, are you a Republican or a Democrat to vote, they can still vote in their city election regardless of party. Is that correct?
Chairman Spicki.
Yes, I believe the question is correct, yes.
Representative Dixie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As my colleague kind of touched on about the runoff elections, will this do away with runoff elections? Will this bill do away with runoff elections?
Chairman Spicky.
No, sir.
Representative Dixie.
All right, thank you. That was my question. Just needed clarification.
Representative McKenzie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a quick question, and my rep brought it to my mind. As an example, when Knox County kind of reconstituted and shrunk the body, they needed to build a stagger in. And what we decided at that time, myself and Representative Wright ran for 6-year terms. But that 6-year term did not count necessarily as a 4-year term. So in this case, my question to you is, if what Rep. Powell said happens and they do a 3-year term, does that allow that mayoral candidate or city council person to run for 2 more terms, or does that 3-year term count toward their term limits?
Chairman Spicky.
I believe it would count towards their term limits.
Representative McKenzie.
Thank you, sir.
Representative Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I guess I just want to kind of continue down that line of questioning. So we had a bill yesterday that died that would have required closed primaries that died. Pretty funny. But if that were to come back, because I'm sure it's coming back, if that were to come back and you wanted to vote in the nonpartisan races, how would that work? Would you just pull an independent ballot, and would we have to have another ballot completely where the partisan races are grayed out or not included? Talk through the mechanisms of how that would work.
Chairman Sapicki.
We're kind of getting the weeds on this one. I'm going to give you my best guess. Is that okay with you? I believe what would probably happen is if you go in, if partisan primaries would be the rule or the law of the land in Tennessee, then if you said you were a Republican, you would get a Republican ballot, and then the nonpartisan people would be on there too. And if you pull a Democrat ballot, you get a Democrat partisan, and then the nonpartisan would be on there too. So everybody who's running nonpartisan would appear on every ballot.
Representative Freeman.
One more quick question. The other part, and I'm wondering if you've contemplated how this would work out. So you go in August, vote for the nonpartisan races, say our mayor. It goes to a runoff. We got 45 days later. That changes the dynamic of this. Now we're into mid-September. We're 15 days ahead of 25 days ahead of the November election. Do you not think this is just going to completely bombard us with all these different ads and decisions? And is it not almost too much to have all this right on top of each other? These are big decisions.
Chairman Sapicki.
No.
Representative Freeman.
Last one. Sorry, I said last one, but this is really the last one. What's the order in which are municipal races going to be first and then state races, or is that going to rotate?
Chairman Sapicki.
I believe that's all set by the Secretary of State when they put the ballot together.
Representative Freeman.
Thanks for the answers.
Deputy Speaker Zachary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Previous question.
Previous question may cause their objection. Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 1497 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 67, 26 nays, 1 present, not voting.
House Bill 1497 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare it passed without objection. The motion reconsiders table. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1886 by Chairman Sapicki and others relative to acceptable uses of technology provided by public schools.
Chairman Sapicki, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of House Bill 1886 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Sapicki moves passage following second. Mr. Clerk, call it First Amendment.
House Education Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman White, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw and defer to the sponsor for explanation.
Without objection, amendment number 1 is withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Finance Ways and Means Committee Amendment number 1 filed as House Amendment 2.
Chairman Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment rewrites the bill. Move to adopt and defer to the sponsor for further explanation.
Chairman Hicks moves adoption of committee amendment number 2. Probably second. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of committee amendment number 2 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Spiki, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Renew my motion.
Chairman Spiki renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? See Leader Camper.
Mr. Speaker, I didn't hear that explanation of this bill.
Chairman Spiki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the question. What the bill does, it revises internet acceptable use policy requirements for our local LEAs and expands such requirements to apply to public charter schools. It also has it here, requires public charter schools, in addition to LEAs and state agencies, that contract with a third party for the provision of such materials that our students access through the internet. A process for a person to file a complaint within the entity that is alleged to be using prohibited material. It also authorizes an LEA or public charter school to create an email address for students in K through 5, pre-K through 5, for identification purposes only, but does not allow that email address to work. And then it does not, provides that such provisions do not impair contracts or agreements entered into or before July 1st, 2027. That's what the bill does.
Leader Camper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the email addresses, you mentioned they will be created. You said it's only for identification purposes only. It will not be for teachers to send information to students on homework or anything like that. Is that correct?
Chairman Spiki.
Yes, that's correct. It would just be to identify the student until they get to 5th grade. After 5th grade, then they would become active email addresses to give them time to acclimate to what it means to use an email address.
Leader Camper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 1886 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 85, 16 nays.
House Bill 1886 having received constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. Most reconsider table. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 29 by Chairman Sapiki and others relative to payment for services rendered by chiropractors.
Chairman Sapiki, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of House Bill 29 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Sapiki moves passage. Probably second. Mr. Clerk, call it First Amendment.
House Insurance Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Kumar, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We move to adopt and defer to the sponsor for explanation.
Chairman Kumar moves adoption of Committee Amendment number 1. Probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of Committee Amendment number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopt the next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Finance, Ways and Means Committee Amendment number 1 filed as House Amendment 2.
Chairman Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment updates the effective date to July 1st, 2026. Move to adopt.
Chairman Hicks moves adoption. Committee Amendment number 2. Probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of Committee Amendment number 2 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopt the next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Spiki, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Renew my motion.
Chairman Spiki renews the motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none. Any objection to the question? Seeing none. We're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 29 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 82, 7 nays, 1 present on vote.
House Bill 29 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. Most reconsider tabled. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 519 by Chairman Sapiki relative to state government. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Chairman Spiki, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 599.
Chairman Spiki moves substitute conform Senate Bill 599, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Spiki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 599 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Spiki moves passage of Senate Bill 599 on third and final consideration, probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment number 1, same as Senate Amendment number 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Spiki, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Renew my motion.
Chairman Spiki renews the motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none. Any objection to the question? Seeing none. All those in favor of Senate Bill 599, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 88, 4 nays, 1 present, not voting.
Senate Bill 599 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. Most reconsider tabled. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2574 by Chairman Kumar and others relative to driving under the influence of an intoxicant.
Chairman Kumar, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for passage of House Bill 2574 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Kumar moves passage by second. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House Judiciary Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to adopt.
Chairman Farmer moves adoption of Committee Amendment number 1, probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of Committee Amendment number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopt the next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Kumar, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, prior to passage of Public Chapter 403 last year, an implied consent violation for a first-time DUI offender resulted in a revocation of the person's driver's license for 12 months, regardless of whether the violation involved a refusal to take a blood or a breath test. PC 403 changed the law such that an implied consent violation for a first-time DUI offender involving refusal to take a blood test resulted in revocation of the person's driver's license for 18 months. But PC 403 did not change the revocation period for a person whose implied consent violation involved refusal to take the blood test. House Bill 2574 corrects that inconsistency. Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Kumar renews the motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 2574 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 70, nays, non-present, not voting.
House Bill 2574 having received constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed by objection. The motion reconsiders table. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2485 by Chairman Haston and others related to economically disadvantaged students.
Chairman Haston, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of House Bill 2485 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Haston moves passage by second. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House Finance, Ways and Means Committee Amendment 1.
Chairman Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment rewrites the bill. Move to adopt and defer to the sponsor for further explanation.
Chairman Hicks moves adoption of Committee Amendment number 1, probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of Committee Amendment number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopt next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Haston, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, I'd like to thank Chairman Watt for helping this bill along the way. What this bill does is directs the TISA Review Committee to report recommendations to the General Assembly about how to improve our support and identification of economically disadvantaged students. With that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Haston renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 2485 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 93, one nay.
House Bill 2485 having received constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed by objection. The motion reconsiders table. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2612 by Chairman Halsey relative to application procedures for driver's licenses. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Chairman Halsey, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1783.
Chairman Halsey moves substitute form Senate Bill 1783, probably seconded with objection. So ordered. Chairman Halsey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1783 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Halsey moves passage of Senate Bill 1783 on third and final consideration, probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House Transportation Committee Amendment number 1, same as Senate Amendment number 1.
Chairman Howell, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Halsey, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There's been some confusion in DMVs on a real ID, and some folks have been told they have to get a real ID. And there's been some confusion in other areas about that. So this bill is very simple. It just says that people will know and be very transparent when they walk into a DMV that they got a choice between a traditional driver's license or a non-real ID or a real ID, and the signage has to be posted to show that and proof that those folks got the choice. I renew my motion.
Chairman Halsey renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So the sign says that they have a choice. Does the sign also let them know that if they want to fly, that they have to bring a passport?
Chairman Halsey.
Actually, I do think there is some information in this that informs people that they don't have to have a real ID to get on an airplane, that a passport or a visa will do that. I do think that's included.
Representative Freeman.
I'd really like to know, that's pretty important. One of the most frequent calls I get is how to get a real ID. Somebody showed up in an airport, wasn't allowed to get on an airplane. I think we're going to end up causing a massive problem for the people of Tennessee unwittingly by passing this bill. Would you be willing to roll this a couple of spaces so we can get an answer on that?
Chairman Halsey.
No, I don't really want to do this. It's pretty simple.
Representative Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, I appreciate what you're doing, and I always appreciate your views on how the government should act. But again, members, I just want everybody to understand, we could be passing a law that we're all going to get phone calls from our constituents when they show up at the airport late for a flight because we've decided to give them the option to not get the real ID. They're not going to be able to fly. They're going to be stuck at the airport. That we now have a regional board that's going to get to oversee, thank you, but they're going to be stuck at the airport and not be able to fly. So I just, and the answer that I was given is, I think so maybe, that's a fairly important thing that we should know before we vote on a piece of legislation.
Chairman Halsey.
There's lots of other sources where you get that same information, that you don't have to have a real ID to get on an airplane. Now, that very well may end at some point, but there are other pieces of places that you can go to get that very same information.
Representative Freeman.
And again, I hope you know, I really always appreciate your views on how the government should act, but you think it may end, it's not, it hasn't, it's still a requirement. We are going to strand our citizens, our constituents at the airport because we've given them this option. I think we should know that it's going to be in the language that you can or can't get a real ID and the ramifications of that decision. I'm all for people making decisions. You make any decision you want, but we've got to make sure that they understand what those decisions mean to their other freedoms. So anyway, I appreciate you.
Representative Renaud.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd just be happy to clarify this. On page, the bottom of the legislation, it does say that the applicant must be provided a printed document that does include that information. In fact, in item C, it says that in lieu of a real ID or compliant driver's license, you can use a passport that will be accepted to fly domestically. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman Halsey.
I have nothing.
Thank you. Representative Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So follow up, if somebody goes in and they are now given this choice if they can get a real ID or a non-real ID. As you know, a real ID requires additional documentation, does it not? So if the person goes in and they say, well, I don't have that documentation with me to get a real ID, I just want to get a regular driver's license, but I can come, I do want to get a real ID. Is there any sort of prohibition on that person getting their driver's license and then going in at any time and selecting a real ID? Because I think a lot of people will show up and not have the documentation they need for a real ID. So my other follow-up to that is, are people notified of the information they need to bring like they are getting a real ID, and then once they show up, they're given the choice of getting a real ID or not getting a real ID?
Chairman Halsey.
All that information is supposed to be on the website and is on the website on what you need to get either license. When you get there under this bill, there's documentation that you've been shown and told what you have to have and that you produced it, and this is what you chose.
Chairman Halsey.
I renew my motion.
Leader Lamberth.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker. Two things. One, and I have to ask this, is this your last bill?
Chairman Halsey.
No, I have one more.
Leader Lamberth.
Thank God, brother. So, look, it's a good bill. I know what you're trying to do with this. You just want to make sure people have information. I understand that the comments have been made. And the biggest thing about that, I think, is just the more information people get, the better. And if folks understand that you have to have a real ID to fly, you have to have a passport for this, it's not going to be a one size fits all, but you also don't have to have those things. If you're someone who doesn't fly, if you're someone who doesn't travel internationally, then obviously you don't need a real ID or a passport to go internationally. But what's your actual point and purpose of wanting to do this? Like, just kind of tell us the basics of why you want to do this bill.
Chairman Holsey.
The basic reason is because of the confusion that even the DMVs had, where constituents came to me, not just from my district, but other places in the state, and they were given wrong information when they got to the DMV. There were people who moved here and exchanged their license to get a Tennessee license, and they were told they had to get a real ID. So the whole purpose of this was no, you don't have to get a real ID if you don't want it. And that's the purpose of this bill, is to inform people that they have a choice.
Leader Lambert.
And how do we absolutely make sure that, the Real ID has enhanced protections to make sure that only legal immigrants and legal citizens are being able to get that Real ID? How do we make sure that if they have these other options, that it's definitely only folks that are supposed to be getting those identifications that should?
Chairman Holsey.
Well, right now, that's based on the amount of material that you bring in to apply, on the requirements that you have to have that would show your proof of citizenship.
Leader Lambert.
And you're confident those are still sufficient, that folks are not, this is not a reduced standard or anything, it's just options. And is that why you're bringing the bill?
Chairman Holsey.
Yes, to clear up the other confusion of folks thinking that they have to get one.
Leader Lambert.
Thank you. And hopefully your last bill will be much simpler than this one, but I appreciate you explaining it.
Representative Mitchell.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just have a problem, with us, suggesting to people not to get the Real ID. The Real ID came out of the 9/11 Commission. It's to enhance security, i.e. national security. And by us telling people not to get this, I think we're doing damage to the whole purpose of the Real ID, and that's the enhanced security of our nation. So by passing this and telling people, no, you do, it's just a suggestion. It's a mere suggestion. No, we need everybody to get the Real ID, and the feds have told us to do this, and it's for national security. So I just don't see the purpose of us suggesting to hurt national security. Thank you.
Chairman Holsey.
Okay, thank you, but this bill doesn't suggest that you don't have to get it. It just shows you that you have the option of either getting it or not getting it. It doesn't push you in one direction or the other. There are lots of people who do not want a Real ID, and they need to be told they have an option.
Representative McCalman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move the previous question.
Previous question being called. The objection. Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1783 vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 73, 18 nays, 4 present, I'm voting.
Senate Bill 1783 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare it passed without objection. Most reconsidered table. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1443 by Representative Jones, the Unicoi, relative to relief caregivers of individuals with Alzheimer's disease or related dementia.
Representative Jones, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of HB 1443 on third and final consideration.
Representative Jones moves passage. Public Secretary. Mr. Clerk, call the first amendment.
House Health Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Terry, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to adopt.
Chairman Terry moves adoption of Committee Amendment number 1. Public Secretary, any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of Committee Amendment number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Finance Ways and Means Committee Amendment number 1 filed as House Amendment 2.
Chairman Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment makes changes to the pilot program by making it a one-year pilot project, and I move to adopt.
Chairman Hicks moves adoption. Committee amendment number 2, probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of adopting committee amendment number 2, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. You adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Representative Jones, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What this bill does is provide $6,000 in aid to family caregivers to support expenses incurred during caregiving for Alzheimer and related dementia. It prioritizes those most in need for eligibility. The Caring for Caregiver Act allows eligible expenses to go beyond the purchase of equipment and includes medical supplies, respite care, alterations to residents, and other vital caregiving costs. With that, I renew my motion.
Representative Jones renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to thank the sponsor for the bill, and I hope my colleagues will sign on to the bill. This is really important for those who dedicate their time to their loved ones and family members. I mean, it really is can be a full-time job, and having this money can be critical. As myself, somebody who has gone through this and helped take care of an elderly family member, as well as have to take care of 2 young children along with my wife. It really is extremely time consuming, but it's very important for Tennesseans to have these resources so they can help take care of their loved ones as they age. And specifically when people have Alzheimer's or dementia or cognitive issues, it's even more important for us to. So I hope my colleagues will join me in sponsoring this legislation. It really is an important bill, and thank you for carrying it. I fully support it.
Representative Jones.
Thank you for your comments, and you're correct. It's a very difficult time for those that are having to deal with that. Research shows that it's a high emotional and financial burden, and this bill will help ease some of that burden. With that, I renew my motion.
Representative Jones renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we are voting. All those in favor of House Bill 1443 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 92, 3 nays.
House Bill 1443, having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion for reconsider is tabled. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1959 by Representative Scarborough and others relative to ownership and control of pharmacies, pharmacy benefit managers. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Representative Scarborough, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 2040.
Representative Scarborough moves to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 2040, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Representative Scarborough.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 2040 on third and final consideration.
Representative Scarborough moves passage of Senate Bill 2040 on third and final consideration, probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call for First Amendment.
House Insurance Committee Amendment number 1, same as Senate Amendment 2.
Chairman Kumar, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We move to adopt.
Chairman Kumar move. Chairman Kumar.
We move to withdraw.
Without objection, committee amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Insurance Committee Amendment number 2, same as Senate Amendment number 3.
Chairman Kumar, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We move to withdraw this one also.
Without objection, committee amendment number 2 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Amendment 3 by Representative Scarborough. Mr. Speaker, it was not timely filed, but it's also the same as Senate Amendment number 4.
Representative Scarborough.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill does one core thing. Beginning July 1 of 2028, the same corporate structure cannot control both a pharmacy and control a pharmacy benefit manager. It separates financial control from patient to care decision-making. This bill does not regulate drug prices, does not redesign insurance, it does not eliminate mail order, it does not prohibit specialty pharmacies, does not interfere with employers' self-funded plans. It does not apply to TRICARE, and it does not apply to hospitals operating pharmacies. This bill does promote transparency, reinforces fair competition, and protects the integrity of the system for patients and providers. This bill has a delayed effective date. It is narrow its perspective. With that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Representative Scarborough.
Move to withdraw Amendment 3.
Without objection, amendment number 3 withdrawn. Representative Scarborough renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Fritz.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the sponsor, thank you so much for carrying this bill. I think it's a good way to stand up for our small independent pharmacies and for the final consumer. I appreciate the fact that you've taken lots of flack for this bill, and appreciate you standing up. And I just want to get one more time. You just said that. I want to make sure everybody hears this and ask. I'll just ask you this question: does this bill in any way impact TRICARE?
Representative Scarborough.
No, it does not.
Representative Fritz.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any further discussion? Representative Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have studied this issue quite a bit over the past few weeks, and I have some concerns with it. First off, I agree 100% with what we're trying to do here. I believe that these PBMs need to be reined in. Arkansas has done something very similar to what we're doing here, and they got sued by CVS, and they got a preliminary injunction issued against them for violating the Interstate Commerce Clause. And I had to dust off my con law notes from law school. This is not an area that I study very often, but only Congress can regulate matters that are interstate. And so there's also this concept called the Dormant Commerce Clause, where states cannot regulate commerce that affects other states or companies out of state. And so one of my concerns with this is that we're dealing with an out-of-state company here, and part of the crux of this legislation seems to be that we're trying to protect local pharmacies and punish the big ones. And so I think that that's going to lead us into a lawsuit with one of these companies and PBMs, and we probably are going to be on the losing end of that. Also, Congress recently passed the Consolidated Appropriations Act earlier this year that addresses some of these issues. It requires full rebate pass-through to plan sponsors. It bans spread pricing, increased transparency. And then, of course, we have current laws on our books that prohibit anti-steering. They prohibit rebate retention, and they have transparency. And so my question is, for us as a body, why are these laws not being enforced that we already have on the books? I think we need to look into that possibly next year. But I'm just concerned that if we pass this, that we're going to end up in the same type of lawsuit that Arkansas ended up in. Our legal services drafted up this bill in a way that addresses some of the issues that were defined in that case, but it still walks and quacks like a duck, and I'm afraid that we're going to get sued and probably be on the losing end. So with that in mind, I do agree 100% with this concept. I think it needs to be done by Congress and not us. And so for that reason, I will be a very, very respectful and polite no on the bill. Thank you.
Representative Scarborough.
This bill impacts all retail pharmacies, both independent chain and grocery stores. This legislature for several years has identified some shortcomings in this system, and they've tried to pass laws that have been ignored, and of course our audits have revealed they've been ignored. And that's why we're having to take this step to remove the conflict of interest. This is simply a licensure bill to remove the conflict of interest between pharmacies and the PBMs. That'll renew my motion.
Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and Representative, thank you for bringing the legislation. You know, I sat on insurance committee when we heard this bill, and I went and, Mr. Speaker, I'm gonna ask that we go under the rule. Thank you. I went and talked to one of my pharmacists, independent pharmacists. And I asked him about this bill, about this idea, this legislation, and he explained, he broke the PBM structure down to me from his vantage point. He said, the PBM structure is the worst structure that I have to encounter. He said that I have to deal with them to be able to get some of the drugs and stuff that I need to get. He said, but I have to pay a higher price to them than the pharmacies that they own. But I have to deal with them. I don't have a choice in the matter, or I won't be in business at all. This is almost like some mafia stuff. So you like that one? We're going to contract with you, Mr. Independent Pharmacist, and we're going to make you pay higher rates than we make our own pharmacies pay. But if you want to stay in business, you are going to have to contract with us. And what this legislation says also, and so I think it's important to note, is that it doesn't say that the PBMs have to sell their pharmacy business. It just says that they can either divest of the pharmacy business or they can divest of the other parts of the structure. But you can't own the whole entire thing. So that's basically you having a patient that runs through your entire system and stays in your entire system, so you control every facet of the money involved in treating that patient almost. So I just want to give a little bit more understanding for those that didn't understand the legislation. Truly appreciate you bringing the bill, and thank you again for bringing this.
Representative Scarborough.
I renew my motion.
Representative Mitchell.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I too agree we need to do something about PBMs. But I don't think this is the answer. You know, a couple of years ago, we had another PBM bill, and I tried to tell folks at that point in time, all we were doing was raising the price on our constituents on their drugs. Well, that's exactly what happened. You know, my clients, there's a line item on there for $2 a script that we raised it because we thought we were putting a limit on them. Well, my clients were getting their drugs for $2 a script cheaper. So all we did in here was raise the price. This here, you know, there's a lot of people. There's 3 big PBMs. And one of them, you are going to affect the people who are getting mail order drugs who are paying 2 copays for a 3-month supply. They're now not going to be able to get that. So you're raising their drug cost by a copay. You know, I understand what you're trying to do, but the reality of it, as you know, my colleague from Rutherford County told you, we're going to be in federal court and we're going to lose. But in the meantime, you're raising my constituents' prices on their drugs. And most of them are seniors who are on a fixed income. Understand what you're trying to do, but sometimes we know not what we do. And this is the time, just like the previous PBM bill, you know, Congress needs to act, not us. And all we're doing again is raising drug costs on our constituents and raising litigation costs for our taxpayers because we're going to be in court and we're going to lose. But our constituents are going to pay higher drug costs in the meantime. So, folks, this is a bad bill. It has great intentions, but it's a bad bill, and it's going to harm our constituents. Thank you.
Representative Scarborough.
I can appreciate the comments, but at the same time, I understand we get a lot of pushback outside the building, with inside the building about policy outcomes. When actually, we're talking about business decisions by those who provide these services. And again, that's why this is simply a licensure bill to separate PBMs and the pharmacies. I renew my motion.
Representative Mitchell.
Well, you help us then, because, you know, tell me what your response should be to my constituents and everyone else in this room when they figure out they can't get that drug delivered to their front door anymore for 2 copays, that they're going to have to go down to a different pharmacy now and they're going to have to pay 3 copays. So that $20 copay to many of us in here may not be much, but to those seniors on that fixed income, that $20 we're taking out of their budget makes a difference. So tell me what I'm supposed to tell that person.
Representative Scarborough.
Again, this is simply a licensure bill to separate the conflict of interest between PBMs and pharmacies. Again, this is delayed effective date. It's narrowly written. And again, we're simply a licensure bill. I renew my motion.
Representative Mitchell.
But the impact of what you are doing is the result is what I just described. You're going to harm seniors in this state. And we know it's going to do that. So please, I need that response. And I think all your colleagues need that response, because we're going to get those phone calls and we're going to get those emails.
Representative Scarborough.
Again, this is a delayed effective date of nearly 2 years after we made this last amendment. Again, you're talking about assumptions and what could be and what might be. We're talking about simply a licensure bill, and I renew my motion.
Representative Hemmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Sponsor. I know this is a very, very difficult, wonky, complicated bill. And so I know you worked really hard on this. I do have some concerns. I want to have some clarifications from you. I know one the topics that have been mentioned in the debate on this bill is about divestment. This is a divestment bill. And can you speak to what would happen if some of these groups lose a license? Would they have to sell or close some of these retail facilities?
Representative Scarborough.
That's strictly their business decision. I renew my motion.
Representative Hemmer.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I couldn't hear if people were talking.
Representative Scarborough.
That is their business decision. And again, it's a delayed effective date for them to make those type of decisions. I renew my motion.
Representative Hemmer.
Thank you. One of the other items mentioned in the bill is about the carve out for the LDDs. One of the things I've been concerned about and had a conversation about it was the Accredo specialty pharmacy facility in Memphis. And as I understand it, specifically for that licensure, the way that it would operate is if with the LDD carve out, but the way that the licensure has now been written for a facility like that they potentially could not receive a license. Could you help me better understand or clarify how your legislation could affect that particular facility?
Representative Scarborough.
Again, that's the business decision on their part. We have a delayed effective date. I renew my motion.
Representative Hemmer.
All right. I'll just tell the body a little history lesson. Back when I was working in the Bredesen administration in 2009, 2010, I believe, right at the end, we were informed that McKesson, which had a facility in Memphis at the time, they moved about 3 miles south of the border to Memphis. I'm sorry, to Mississippi. Unbeknownst to us, that was a thing that just happened, but what really happened was it created a huge crater in our budget. We found out the next 2 years, for those of you here around 2012, we had to put a special appropriation in the budget the last minute because there was a $220 million hole in the budget. So these specialty pharmacies, like the one in Memphis and Accredo, has extreme amounts of very, very expensive drugs, some of the most rare orphan drugs in the country. And what happens is when they take control of that from the wholesaler, then they're paying franchise and excise taxes. So one of my concerns with this bill is that we don't actively counting for this. If this Accredo facility in Memphis closes, this is a multiple $100 million hit to our state budget, folks. This is real money. This is real serious, and I worry that we're not taking that into effect. And I appreciate the sponsors' work on it. I too believe there are tons of problems with PBMs, but I'm more worried about the transparency. I'm more worried about rebates and some of the reforms that again, Congress has been working on and should be further working on, and not what this bill is doing. And for that reason, I'll vote no. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Scarborough.
And again, we have been talking about time to time about these policy outcomes. And again, let's focus on, that's what our job here to do, is focus on what this bill does. Again, it promotes transparency and fairness in the marketplace, protects the integrity of the system. It's simply a licensure bill that separates the conflict of interest from pharmacies and the PBMs. And I renew my motion.
Representative Vaughn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my friend. I'd like to offer a motion calling for the question, sir.
Previous question been called. Is there objection? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 2040 vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 86, 7 nays.
Senate Bill 2040, having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection to the most reading considered table. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2177 by Chairman Slater and others relative to public education.
Chairman Slater, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of House Bill 2177 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Slater moves passage. Bobby seconded. Mr. Clerk, call it First Amendment.
House Education Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman White, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to adopt and defer to the sponsor for explanation.
Chairman White moves adoption of amendment number 1. Bobby seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of committee amendment number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopt. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Slater, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I've had a lot of questions today about another bill that I have on today's calendar. This is House Bill 2177. It is on Monday's calendar, so if you would, please take a look at that bill so that there's no confusion about questions that have been asked to me about another bill that I have. So this is today's calendar, or yesterday's calendar, House Bill 2177. This bill came before both Education Subcommittee and then full committee, and there are no additional amendments other than the amendments that were brought in Education Committee. With that, what this bill does is that it requires automatic application, renewal application of a high-performing public charter school. And with that, I renew my motion.
Chairman Slater renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative McKenzie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I definitely understand what bill we're on, but appreciate that because I'm sure you get a lot of conversations as we're doing a whole lot with our charter schools. I would think that 20 years would be a long time for the state not to take a look at any school. And that's what this bill would do. They'll get a 10-year license, and if they meet these, I would say modest levels, not great, not necessarily good, but C+ kind of levels in terms of being excellent school system, then they'll get a 20-year pass. I just think that's a long time for our, not just tax dollars, but our students that are matriculating through those schools not to get a look. Because as I said, one of the huge concerns, and I think it's with any school system, I know I'll pick on Oak Ridge because it's a great school system, A lot of efforts, and this was 20 years ago, they had a lot of efforts toward those lower performing kids to get them up to speed, huge amount of efforts toward those high achieving kids to create programs, but that middle kid, they were missing. And they picked up on that through evaluations, and they started to put more resources in that. You're gonna have just a couple of metrics that might get to an overall C+, B-, and you're not gonna take a look at them for 20 years. 2 decades. That's a long, long time. That's my concern with this bill. Why would you give them 2 decades without getting a review when they made modest, middling to decent efforts overall.
Chairman Slater.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for your question, but that's not what this bill does. As we discussed in Education Committee, in fact, what this bill does is it mandates that there's communication between the charter school and the authorizer on an annual basis, which currently is not taking place. I agree with you, to not look at a charter school for 20 years would be a disaster. What this simply does is that when it comes time for the application process, which is every 10 years, then there's a streamlined application as long as the school has met the metrics that you referenced that are in the bill. So this only streamlines the application process. A charter school can be closed. That's one of the reasons that the charter school system is a good system, because if they're a failing school, they can be closed. This bill does not take away any of those provisions. It only streamlines the application process that takes place every 10 years.
Representative McKenzie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, education is not a black or white pass fail. To me, it's much deeper than that. And just because the charter school isn't failing, they may need to be evaluated for whatever reason. And I don't want to go drastic on it, but the annual report is just it's a little more than a box check. It does not require the Charter Commission to take a deep look at it. And that's what happens every 10 years. What happens every 10 years is say, okay, because it's a risk. When we open up a charter school, we have all the data there, we understand, but it's still a risk. And what that 10-year evaluation goes back and looks at all those metrics to see, are they doing what they said they're going to do? That's a lot different than having just an annual report. Hey, here are our TVOS scores. Here are our numbers. We're doing a good job. So again, I just think this bill goes too far, and 20 years is a long time not to get a deep evaluation on what you need to be doing, how are you doing, and are there holes there? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman Slater.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And once again, none of the metrics change in this bill for charter schools. The students will still be taking the TCAP scores, the TCAP. Those scores will be reported. Every single metric that is in place now continues to be in place. The implication that somehow that this bill would lessen the requirements for a charter school is just incorrect. Those will still be in place. This only affects the application process, which will be streamlined for those charter schools that are high-performing schools. With that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Representative Love.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And to the sponsor, just for clarification, in what ways is the process going to be streamlined? Just if you can briefly.
Chairman Slater.
Thank you, and thank you for that question. Right now, the State Board of Education already has established a standardized charter school application. That the streamlining process for that will not alleviate any of the requirements when it comes to what the students are doing and how well that the student is doing. Instead, it's an automatic renewal of that application. So it's an automatic renewal.
Representative Love.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I expressed some concerns because an automatic renewal, to my colleague who expressed his concerns earlier, may not allow an extensive review of an application. even for one that's performing well. I do think that perhaps the process for reapplication that's in place right now was more than likely put in place for a particular reason. Those who crafted the legislation probably deemed that it was necessary to review the application and to have certain benchmarks checked off. I caution an automatic renewal, even with a high-performing school, simply because you just don't know what you're missing if it is just an automatic renewal. If that is the streamlining you're talking about, I would suggest that we may need to evaluate that again, because what you don't want to do is have a situation where one is automatically renewed and then something happens down the line that you cannot correct because there was no real review of that particular school, even though high performing. And so I would caution us to look at that again and ask ourselves, is this the best way for us to engage in the renewal process for schools, again, that still may be high performing, but would have an extra step that was taken away from them? Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, sponsor.
Chairman Slater.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I would reiterate that this bill does more than just provide an automatic renewal. One of the issues that's been taking place in our charter schools is that there's not been communication between the authorizer, whether that's the LEA or the Charter School Commission, and the schools themselves. What this bill does is requires that there be an annual communication in years 6, 7, 8, 9 for all charter schools, so that there is that level of communication that is taking place. And once again, we're not changing at all what the standards are for the students, what the financial standards, and by the way, this bill also speaks to audits, those types of things. So it's comprehensive in nature. And I'll state again that this doesn't take away the ability of the authorizer, if a school is deficient and fails, to close a charter school. I mean, that's one of the things that is important about charter schools, is that if a school is not doing well financially, if it's not doing right by its students educationally, then that charter school can be closed. This bill does not do anything to take that away. And that's one of the benefits of the charter school system. With that, I renew my motion.
Representative Bricken. Representative Bricken.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Call the question.
Question being called. Is there objection? No objection. We're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 2177 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has everyone voted? Does anyone wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 62, 29 nays, 2 present, not voting.
House Bill 2177, having received the constitutional majority, I declare it passed by objection. Most for exterior table. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk. Oh, I'm sorry. Leader Lamberth, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to take up item 43 on today's calendar at this time.
Without objections, ordered. Mr. Clerk, call the next bill.
Mr. Speaker, item 43, House Bill 1464 by Chairman Powers and others relative to electrical linemen.
Chairman Powers, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of House Bill 1464 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Powers moves passage. Bobby second. Mr. Clerk, call the first amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment Number 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rewrites the bill to further the sponsor for further explanation. Move to adopt.
Chairman Crawford moves adoption of committee amendment number 1, probably seconded. Any discussion on amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting committee amendment number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Powers, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The amendment actually named our bill the Chase Carlton Act. And as amended, House Bill 1464 is the Chase Carlton Act. Most of the time, electrical linemen are the very first responders. Anytime there are storms or power interruptions, day or night, weekends, holidays, 24/7, 365, without fail, the electrical linemen there are to restore power and maintain the important element of our culture. Tennessee Code 7-51-210 provides compensation for death of first responders in the line of duty due to the danger of their occupation. The statute requires the estate of the first responder to receive $250,000 over 5 years as a payment. This bill includes electrical linemen as first responders. And Mr. Speaker, at this time, I would like for Chairman Brock Martin to be recognized, please.
Chairman Martin, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, last April 3rd, I stood before you guys and announced one of my constituents had passed away that morning unexpectedly in an accident. That morning, Chance woke up just like he did that evening, just like he has hundreds of times, to answer the call in an emergency situation to help get lights back on for our community. He left house just like he did every time, hundreds of times before, kissed his girls goodbye, his wife, and went to work. Chance didn't come home that next morning. Today in the chamber with us is his lovely wife, Samantha, and their 2 precious daughters. I'll try not to look up there. And members, if you haven't yet, I highly encourage you to go watch her testimony. Many of you guys have seen her come before your committee. She is the picture-perfect definition of a Christian woman and how she presented herself and her husband's story for the next generation. In the committee, one of the members asked, "Would this benefit you?" And she said, "Absolutely not. I am here standing for the next mom or wife that gets the phone call and her husband doesn't come home." Chance was a Christian, first and foremost. He was a husband, he was a father, and he was a hero. Our linemen are never thought about typically until the power goes out. But those men and women are already on the road, already going to change lives and get the power back on. Numerous troopers and firemen and people I talked to that are listed as first responders, they said, "Brock, those guys are out there before we are every time." I've had numerous times where they said they had lights shining on the poles so the electrical linemen could get the lights on first. This bill puts into statute that those men and women are not only heroes, but first responders and will have access to that death benefit if were something to happen. But members, I kindly ask for a favorable vote. Thank you for the family, for being here. Samantha, all of them, there's a whole group of them. Thank you guys.
Chairman Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With that, I renew my motion.
Chairman Powers renews the motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Sparks.
I just want to say thank you for carrying this, and I'm sorry for your loss. My father-in-law, Gary Smith, was an NES lineman for many years, and sadly, he's on oxygen. He's a Vietnam vet, and I'd see that guy going to work at 3 and 4 in the morning, and he had one of his coworkers killed in line of duty and got hurt in a couple of accidents. And a lot of times we take our electrical grids and linemen for granted, and we all love our electrical linemen. I know this is a way of doing it. So just hats off to you, and sorry for the loss of the family up there. Thank you, sir.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 1464 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 92, no nays.
House Bill 1464, having received the constitutional majority, I hereby declare it passed without objection. The motion reads to its table. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, that brings us back to item 27. Item 27, House Bill 1706 by Deputy Speaker Zachary and others related to unlawful presence in the United States. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Deputy Speaker Zachary, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1587.
Deputy Speaker Zachary moves to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1587, probably seconded without objection, so ordered. Deputy Speaker Zachary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move passage of Senate Bill 1587 on third and final consideration.
Deputy Speaker Zachary moves passage of Senate Bill 1587 on third and final consideration, probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House Transportation Committee Amendment number 1, Mr. Speaker, similar to Senate Amendment number 2.
Chairman Howell, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Deputy Speaker Zachary, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, it is no secret that the federal government has failed our country when it comes to illegal immigration, both Republican and Democrat, for decades. We find ourselves in a position as states that we must act to protect Tennesseans, to preserve resources for Tennesseans, and to steward taxpayer dollars well. It's not till recently under the Trump administration, we went 8 straight months with no illegal border crossings. So since that issue, the core issue, has been addressed, we as states now, with Congress's failure to act, we as states now have to take up the mantle on behalf of Tennesseans. So what this legislation does, it prioritizes protecting Tennesseans. Many of you have seen the horrific stories and accidents caused by illegal aliens with CDLs. Up to 19 states, all states run by Democrats, have violated Federal Code 49 USC 31314 by giving those illegal aliens CDLs. It's a violation of federal law. Those accidents that have been caused have been egregious. Just in December of this past year, an illegal with a CDL in Chairman Williams District in Putnam County killed Tennesseans by not understanding the road signs. I have a list of 10 most recent accidents by illegals with CDLs that caused deaths. We must act, and that's what we're going to do with this piece of legislation. We're going to prioritize the safety of our highways from Memphis to Mountain City. What this legislation does, it makes it a Class A misdemeanor to even be an illegal with a CDL in the state of Tennessee. It requires, if there is any interaction with law enforcement with an illegal with a CDL, they're immediately to turn them over to ICE. If a Tennessean has property damaged or is injured by an illegal with a CDL, they have a right of action against the company who hired that CDL and against the state who violated federal law by issuing that CDL. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for your leadership in leading this package that the House Republican Caucus has brought to address this issue. It'll make Tennesseans safer. With that, I renew my motion.
Deputy Speaker Zachary needs a motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Jones of Davidson, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just think it's unfortunate, colleagues, that we went from such a unifying piece of legislation. That's what the type of bills we should be pushing here, like we just heard, to this very divisive, hateful, and very problematic and racist bill. I don't know if Representative Zachary got his speaking points from Stephen Miller, going after this myth of dangerous illegals when most people in this building are immigrants from somewhere. And so my question to Representative Zachary with this first bill is, when is it going to stop? We've had 10 bills going after undocumented people, and I want to be clear, Representative Zachary, because I think language is important. Referring to people as illegals instead of saying undocumented people is very dehumanizing. And so, can you describe your history of how your family got here? Did you come here the legal way? I'm just curious as to can you give us some background on that, if you don't mind, Representative Zachary?
Yeah, that's outside the bill, but Representative Zachary, if you want to answer something else, go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll be glad to respond to those foolish comments. So we are prioritizing Tennesseans. We are prioritizing the protection of Tennesseans over illegal immigrants. And I would remind the representative that in a federal code, illegal alien is the term that is used. And I think it's important that the media to my left and my right really pay attention to this bill and report on this bill properly. And I think it's important that Tennesseans, when we go to vote, look at who is prioritizing the protection of Tennesseans in this state. Mr. Speaker, I think it's important to remind the body and remind people across this state that the DA conference put out a report in January. 21,648 crimes were committed in this state by 11,344 illegal aliens. Mr. Speaker, 41 Tennesseans lost their lives due to illegal aliens. 11 children were raped. 2,183 violent offenses were committed. There were 3,955 traffic violations and 2,900 DUIs. According to FAIR, man, I'm so glad the representative speaks and allows me to make additional comments. According to FAIR, it costs Tennesseans $971 million a year for the illegals that are currently in this state. Members, this is a serious issue. It impacts every Tennessean. Unfortunately, this is not a bill about politics. This is a bill that is about protecting our highways. Because as I mentioned, I do have a list, Mr. Speaker, and I'll be glad to share this with the members of 25 accidents that have been committed in the last 6 months by illegals with CDLs. And again, I do have the list of 10 accidents that have occurred in the last 8 months where an illegal alien with a CDL has killed somebody in this country. So, Mr. Speaker, I think it's important, again, for Tennesseans to watch this vote. That board is going to light up green or red. Those who light up that board green are standing with Tennesseans. Those who light up the board red, it's the opposite. They're standing with those who are here illegally. Mr. Speaker, it's time we make a stand. It's time we make the stand, and I think the House Republican Caucus has done that. And I appreciate the White House for their support and their engagement. And again, Mr. Speaker, you've led this effort, and I think you're to be commended for that. And again, I hope the media does report on this bill. And I do hope they report on the foolish comments made about the representatives more worried about race baiting and ridiculous comments versus the safety and well-being of Tennesseans. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Jones.
How about a round of applause for white supremacy, y'all? What we just heard was a pre-rehearsed fear-mongering.
Yeah, you're out of order again. We're moving on. Representative Shaw, you're recognized. Representative Shaw, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Sponsor, this does apply, though, to any person that would commit that crime. I mean, I do understand what you're doing, but this would apply to me if I committed that kind of crime. Would that be a true statement?
Representative Zachary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. No, sir, Representative Shaw. You are not an illegal alien. This would not apply to you.
Representative Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm just trying to understand. It is the law, and I understand what you're doing, but you're saying it would only apply to illegal aliens. I'm just asking if anyone committed that kind of crime, this law would apply to them, or this law would, if I'm making sense to you.
Deputy Speaker Zachary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This legislation, Representative, only applies to illegal aliens who obtain a CDL and then come into this state and commit some sort of action that harms or kills somebody or property damage.
Representative Shaw.
But it wouldn't apply to other CDL owners.
Deputy Speaker Zachary.
This only applies to an illegal alien who obtains a CDL from one of the 19 states who violated federal law and gave them that CDL. Thank you.
Chairman Clemens.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think it's, despite the tone of the sponsor, I think we need to be very careful about what we do here, referring to human beings in such a callous and careless manner when you're trying to characterize an entire class of individuals as criminals. One's immigration status in this country is actually a civil matter. Anyone who commits a crime or harms someone is covered by the criminal laws of the state. They're to be treated as they should be, as criminals. But the mere immigration status of an individual that has a life, that has a family, just like any of us, that has children, has a heart, and people who love them, just describing them and trying to capture them under this big umbrella as a criminal is wholly unfair, and I think it's inappropriate because it is a small percentage of individuals. I suspect there's many more crimes committed by other people in this country and in this state than people you describe as illegal immigrants. And our justice system should punish them. Now, as to someone's immigration status, again, it's a civil matter. It's within federal jurisdiction. And this is an issue that we face as a country. We've discussed this many times before. We have a broken immigration system. The immigration system in this country has been broken under Republican administrations. It's been broken under Democratic administrations. I don't think anybody in here is going to dispute that we have a broken federal immigration system. And something needs to be done about that. The question is, why hasn't anything been done about that in Washington, D.C.? You made this a partisan issue in your opening statements. You talked about, Democrats and Republicans. Republicans control the entire federal government. This is a federal issue. Why hasn't the president, who seems willing to do everything else within or outside the law, why isn't the Republican senators, Republican-controlled House, why haven't they rolled up their sleeves to fix a broken immigration system? Instead of the White House senior advisor calling our speaker, calling our members, and asking us to do their job for them. That's the question people should be asking. I see you following around Marsha Blackburn and Bill Hagerty and these others around and taking photos. Many of you do this. Have any of you asked Marsha Blackburn, our U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty, Burchett, Ogles, any of these people that you love to take pictures with that follow around like puppies, have you asked them why they're not doing the job they were elected to do, which is fix a broken immigration system that we're being asked to address at the state level? Again, it's an issue over which we have no jurisdiction. Zero. Yet we're up here trying to score political points, talking about and calling people illegal in an inhumane manner when they're just other people trying to get by and provide opportunity for their families. And again, the criminals, they should be prosecuted as criminals. If you want to send them back to their country if they've committed a crime, have that discussion. That belongs with the federal government. The state certainly assists with that. But let's be very careful about how we characterize entire groups of people and look at what we should be doing as a state and look at who should be doing their actual job in Washington, D.C. I think a fair question to ask any elected official in Washington, D.C., Democrat or Republican, why haven't you done the job that you were elected to do, which is solve problems? And our immigration system, which is broken, is a problem. They have not done a thing to fix it. Marsha Blackburn's been there almost a quarter of a century, hasn't done a thing to fix a broken immigration system. Now y'all want to score political points on it at the state level. Why is the White House asking us to do its job for it when they control the entire government? That's my question.
Deputy Speaker Zachary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Much to cover there in 5 minutes. I can assure you this is not about scoring political points, and I can assure you that Speaker Sexton led in engaging in those conversations. And I can also assure you that legislation that works to protect Tennesseans and keep our highways safer has nothing to do with political points. And back to your original point, I think I actually opened my comments in saying that both Republicans and Democrats have failed us in Washington, D.C. for decades. And because of that reason, now the states are left to pick up the pieces. I don't have to defend my federal colleagues for the state. We know exactly where they stand. They've made their positions clear and been able to gain any traction based on that. But fortunately for President Trump's administration and him coming into office, as I mentioned earlier, 8 straight months we went without border crossings. So we had a significant core issue of our borders being wide open and illegal aliens, which is how they're referenced in code, coming across our border, upwards of 10 million under the Biden administration. And because of that reason, we as the states are left to pick up the pieces. And it would be negligent of us not to protect Tennesseans, not to protect Memphis to Mountain City if we did not act. And so, again, I appreciate the leadership of our caucus, our chairman, and fighting on behalf of Tennesseans, ensuring the safety and well-being of our state. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Fritz.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and to the Deputy Speaker, I appreciate you bringing this legislation. And just to help my colleagues, because this is such a passionate issue with everybody, but our General Assembly body, at least for the last 2 years, has been taking these issues on. We haven't waited on DC to act. Just a mere couple years ago, we moved to enhance penalties for those criminal illegal aliens who committed violent crimes in the state. Many of us had gone to the southern border to see what was taking place there, to get a view of it. So we didn't rely on what people were telling us. Our nation was being invaded. And so I appreciate the legislation we're bringing this year so much. I really do, because I know how much flack y'all catch for these things. I've caught it in the past. But it is the right thing to do. And it is nothing new. Because I know for a fact in the time that I've been here, we've been taking this on. And it was not dependent upon President Trump being in office. We were doing this while Joe Biden was in office. So thank you for your courage. Thank you for bringing this. This is a Tennessee first law, and we need more of those. Thank you.
Deputy Speaker Zachary.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. I agree.
Representative Grills.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I sit here and listen to everyone give their opinions and their thoughts and their views, I go back home sitting at the coffee shop when you hear people talk about how proud they are to live in Tennessee because we take on issues like this. We defend our fellow Tennesseans, and then you have the data points. Where are people moving from? Where are people moving to? They're leaving California by the Groves. They're leaving New York by the Groves. They're leaving Illinois by the Groves. Where are they coming to? Places that implement policies like we're implementing today. And for that, we should be grateful. We should be grateful that people have the courage to carry bills like this, to stand up, take a stand, take the darts. I just want to commend you for the efforts you put forth in this bill. Thank you, Speaker Zachary.
Deputy Speaker Zachary. Very good. Representative McCalman.
Thank you, Speaker. Move the previous question.
There's an objection on previous question. We're voting. All those in favor of previous question, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 73, 17 nays.
Previous question prevails. We're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1587, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 73, 20 nays.
Senate Bill 1587 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare it passed without objection. The most reconsidered table. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2140 by Deputy Speaker Zachary, relative to criminal offenses involving theft. Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill's on the desk.
Deputy Speaker Zachary, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to substitute and form to Senate Bill 2265.
Deputy Speaker Zachary moves substitute form Senate Bill 2265, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Deputy Speaker Zachary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We passed of Senate Bill 2265 on third and final consideration.
Deputy Speaker Zachary moves passage of Senate Bill 2265 on third and final consideration, probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call the First Amendment.
House Judiciary Committee Amendment number 1, same as Senate Amendment number 1.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Deputy Speaker Zachary, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this simply enhances the penalties for those who are involved with or commit organized retail crime. With that, I renew my motion.
Deputy Speaker Zachary renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none. All those in favor of Senate Bill 2265, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 73, 17 nays, 2 present, not voting.
Senate Bill 2265, having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. Most reconsidered table. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2509 by Chairman Faison and others, relative to housing.
Chairman Faison, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of House Bill 2509 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Faison moves passage. Bobby seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment Number 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to adopt.
Chairman Crawford moves adoption. Committee Amendment Number 1. Bobby seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of Committee Amendment Number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Finance, Ways, Means Committee Amendment Number 1 filed as House Amendment 2.
Chairman Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment adds legislative intent relative to funding. Move to adopt.
Chairman Hicks moves adoption of Amendment Number 2. Probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of Committee Amendment Number 2 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Faison, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this bill gives $20 million to the THDA to help establish affordable housing throughout Tennessee. That I renew my motion.
Chairman Faison renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Love.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the sponsor, this, you say it's 20 million. Any estimate on how many houses that might help build?
Chairman Faison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative Love, the 20 million is to be spread evenly across the 3 grand divisions, targeting communities that are coming up with innovative ways to spur on affordable housing. I don't think it's possible to know exactly, and hopefully some of this money will be used as seed money that will actually be paid back, so it'll grow and continue to grow. So I don't think we can give an exact number on that.
Representative Love.
Thank you, Speaker. To the sponsor, I think this may have been what we discussed in finance about the importance of.
Chairman Faison. Representative Love, go ahead.
Okay. The importance of having some parameters in place to make sure that a person could qualify for these homes, and it wasn't just a revolving loan that we couldn't figure out what the safeguards were. Is that pretty close to what we're looking at doing?
Chairman Faison.
For the workforce, yes.
Representative Love. Representative Gant.
Move previous question.
Previous question been called. Is there objection? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 2509 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member vote, as any member wish to change their vote. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 79, 7 nays, 6 present, not voting.
House Bill 2509 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. Most reconsider table. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1668 by Chairman Rudd relative to criminal offenses.
Chairman Rudd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of HB 1668 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Rudd moves passage. Following second, Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House Judiciary Committee Amendment Number 1.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to adopt.
Chairman Farmer moves adoption. Committee Amendment Number 1. Following second, any discussion of the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of Committee Amendment Number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Rudd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What this bill does, ladies and gentlemen, is there are currently laws on the books now that there are criminal gangs that are targeting ATMs and financial institutions. When people leave with money, they follow them with the intent to rob them, and that laws are already on the books now that empower police and district attorneys to prosecute those and to gather evidence. What this bill does is it makes it even easier to prosecute, and it also increases the criminal penalties and creates new penalties for this. Again, these are gangs that are organized, that are following people, and the laws on the books are already there. This bill is not creating those that are now that enable police. This is simply increasing the penalties and making it easier for district attorneys to prosecute. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Rudd renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I just want to make sure I understand. So we're going to charge people with a crime before they've committed the crime? Is that so? They're intending to commit a crime, and we're going to pick them up before they commit the crime? Is that what we're doing?
Chairman Rudd.
That's already on the books right now. If there's evidence that it enables the police and authorities to follow them, they've been trained to see if they're following them either in a car or walking. If they stop and talk to them and they find evidence either on their phones, on their bodies with special tools that are meant for burglary or other criminal acts, or communications or messages, that establishes the intent. They just can't just stop you on the street and say, you have intent, I'm arresting you. That prevents them to go ahead and search and find intent if you are following someone.
Representative Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So we're going to allow the police to stop and search people more easily now? Is that if we think that they might be about to commit a crime? I guess I have real issue with us charging people with a crime before they've committed. I'm all for police trying to prevent crime, but we're making it easier for them to stop and search people, is what you just said. And now, no, okay, sorry, go ahead.
Chairman Rudd.
No, that's already on the books now. And Ken, they just can't stop and charge somebody because they're following somebody that got money out of an ATM or exited a bank. They have to find intent on them, either messages between them and gang members on a phone. They have written messages or burglary or criminal tools or weapons that are used in a crime. They can, under current law, charge them. What I'm simply doing is increasing the penalties, the fines, and creating a new misdemeanor as well.
Representative Freeman. All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 1668 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 71, 21 nays, 2 present, not voting.
House Bill 1668 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare it passed without objection to most reconsider table. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2359 by Chairman Hawk, relative to vapor products.
Chairman Hawk, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of House Bill 2359 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Hawk moves passage by me seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House Judiciary Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Finance, Ways and Means Committee Amendment number 1 filed as House Amendment 2.
Chairman Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment rewrites the bill. Move to adopt and defer to the sponsor for further explanation.
Chairman Hicks moves adoption. Committee Amendment number 2, Party second. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of Committee Amendment number 2 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Amendment 3 by Representative Freeman. Mr. Speaker, it was timely filed.
Representative Freeman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, what this amendment does is puts vape stores and shops in line with liquor stores. So currently in Tennessee, if you have a local municipality or county commission that would like to limit where vape stores or liquor stores can go, they can vote to limit how close they are between schools, churches, kindergartens, and the like. We had, if you'll remember, we had a debate last year where I asked a question as to whether or not an amendment included this language and was told it did, later to find out that it did not. In my community, and I'm sure in many of the communities around where you are, these vape stores are acting as predators against our children. They are putting them directly next to schools, and advertising, talking about fruit flavors. They're talking about, they've got cartoons. They're using cartoon and colorful advertisements. In my community right now, we have a vape store that is directly next to a high school, directly next to it. These people are coming in from school wearing backpacks, buying these vape products, and they're leaving. I'm getting phone calls from the school begging us to do something, begging us. It is incumbent upon us to do something in Tennessee right now to protect our children. We just had a conversation a second ago about are we going to protect Tennesseans or not? This is a real opportunity to protect our children. Children are vaping at a higher rate than they were smoking. It is a highly addictive product, and they are trying to get them to become addicted to it at a young age. They're putting it next to schools. They're advertising to these kids. And I really hope that we all take this seriously and support this amendment. And I'm making a motion to adopt.
Proper motion, probably seconded. Representative Hawk, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and to the representative from Davidson County, thank you very much. You and I, we share the same thoughts and concerns about this particular issue. It is of grave concern. I had hoped that we could do more in this space last year. I had hoped we could do more in this space this year. It's been a interesting conversation, and there have been some other amendments that have come and gone on this piece of legislation. Where we are right now is just a simple cleanup on a couple of issues that are before us. I would prefer to continue our process with the simple cleanups that we have on this piece of legislation and address your concerns in the year to come next year. With all due respect to my colleague from Davidson County, I move this amendment to the table.
It's proper motion, probably seconded. The Department of Situations, Representative Freeman has moved adoption of amendment number 3. Representative Hawk has moved that motion to the table. That cuts off all debate except for that sponsor. Representative Freeman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And sponsor, we've had a conversation about this. I appreciate your position, but members, this can't wait. This can't wait. The reason that I did this is because this was the best vehicle to have an amendment that can address a massive problem. This is a massive problem across our state. We have an opportunity right now to solve it. I fully appreciate what he's doing. We've had back and forth debate. I had an idea that this was going to happen, and I don't begrudge him a bit. I understand what he's trying to do, but we now have an opportunity to solve a problem. We have an opportunity to protect the children of Tennessee from a highly addictive, predatory product. These shops are going after kids. The vapor products are being targeted to children. They're being labeled as things that are cool and hip for the kids, is what they want. They're doing flashy colors and sounds on their vape products. Kids are posting vaping activities on their social media. We have an opportunity right now to at least get it out of eyesight. In my community, the children drive by, the buses drive by a vape shop that you can't tell me is not targeting children. We have an opportunity right now to stop it. It's got to be in your communities. It's got to be in your communities. I appreciate what we're doing, and I appreciate the posture that the bill is in today, but we have an opportunity to do that. And I really hope we vote against the tabling and vote to put this amendment on.
Department of Situations, Representative Freeman has moved adoption of amendment number 3. Representative Hawk has moved that motion to the table. We're voting on the tabling motion. All those in favor of the tabling motion, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 32, 61 nays.
The noes have it. The tabling motion fails. We're back on Representative Freeman's motion to adopt amendment number 3. Representative Freeman.
I mean, I can talk for another 5 minutes if I need to. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. I move to adopt.
Representative Freeman moves to adopt. Any discussion on the amendment? Representative Powell.
Thank you, members. I echo Representative Freeman's comments 100%. This is a disaster, the way these vape shops currently operate. And so we need to support it because I've got schools where these vape shops have literally set up next door across the street. And this is a really important issue. I'm getting calls from parents who are devastated by the impacts that this is having on their children. They're setting up next to schools, churches. It's completely out of control, and we should be in line with the liquor laws. So I hope everybody will support this because we've got to take action now. I mean, these vape shops, there's like cannabinoid products that youth are having access to getting. And the ABC is not doing their job to enforce this. So I hope everybody will stand and support this amendment.
Any further discussion on the amendment? Representative Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to this. This is something that's incredibly important to me and to a lot of people in our community. Last week at Gibbs High School, we had 5 students that were impacted medically by a vape. 3 of them had to be taken for medical attention. This is the other reason why it's so important to me that we have a professional nurse in every school that can help in those emergent situations. But the importance of this is the CDC says that e-cigarettes and vaping is one of the #1 how teens are smoking now. There's over 1 million students across our country that are using this. And it's incredibly difficult to tell the difference between an e-cigarette and a THC vape. This is the impact that we can have right now to help our children. This is happening across our state, in our schools. We are having nurses and coaches and parents and everybody having to Narcan our kids because they're over these vapes. I'm voting a yes.
We're still on amendment number 3. If you're wanting to talk on amendment 3, not on the bill, but on amendment 3, raise your hand. Representative Mayberry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to know if this amendment would harm the original intent of the original bill. That's what I'd like to know.
Representative, we're Representative Freeman.
I don't believe it does. I think the intent is to streamline vape shops, and this is just putting us in line with what I think the people of Tennessee have asked us to do, is to protect our kids.
Representative Mayberry. Any further discussion on the amendment? Representative Parkinson, I saw your hand. Are you wanting the amendment or the bill? No? All right. Chairman Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the amendment. I guess my concern is this amendment, you said on finance, this amendment was not presented in finance. My question is there, I can't find a fiscal note as it relates to the impact of funding to local governments as it relates in sales tax. If these current facilities of which you're very passionate about, and I agree with you, if we, in effect, by putting your amendment on, would close existing businesses all over the state who are within 1,000 foot of a school, my concern would be there would be a lost revenue to that. Have you considered that at all? If because of the current people are not grandfathered in about closing all those businesses that currently exist?
Representative Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Chairman, I appreciate that question. There might be. But I don't believe so. There was no fiscal note on this amendment. Last year we saw a problem with our THC language, and we outlawed and put people out of business last year. I think what's right is right, and I stand by it. I mean, we have people that are targeting children directly next to schools, selling products that is targeted, marketed to children. It's a highly addictive product. And while I appreciate the issue, this is what's right.
Representative Rudd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, sponsors of the amendment and of the bill. As the bill is currently right now, I can't vote for it. And for one reason, I have always felt that this tendency we've gotten into to tell adults 18 and over what to do. And I don't like limiting that, because if they're old enough to start a family, to own a home, to start a business and die on our country for us and our rights, I can't limit them to drink alcohol or smoke or anything else. And I usually vote against any bill. But this is such a really good amendment. I hope the amendment goes on, and I hope the sponsor will accept the amendment. The body seems to like it, and it would really enhance the bill, and I could vote for it with the amendment. But thank both of you for what you're doing and your intentions. And I'm voting for the amendment, and hopefully you will let the bill go through, and we'll vote for the bill too. It'll enhance the bill and be a really good bill. Thank you.
Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A question on the amendment.
Question's been called on the amendment. Is there objection? One objection. All right, we're voting on the amendment. All those in favor of adopting amendment number 3, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 75, 13 nays.
Amendment number 3 is adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Hawk, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I agree conceptually with what we've just done. In terms of practicality and implementation, it becomes difficult. Again, I've been working in this space, and I'm used to being the person in the seat to offer that amendment. I'm not used to being in the seat trying to accept or figure out what to do up here. Mr. Speaker, I ask that this bill be held on the desk.
Proper motion, probably second. There's objection. We're on the board. We are voting on the motion to lay on the desk. Or hold on the desk. If you're in favor of holding on the desk, vote aye when the bell rings. If you're opposed, vote no. Hang on. Ms. Clerk, take the vote.
Ayes 29, 64 nays.
Motion fails. Chairman Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I make a motion to refer this amended bill back to budget subs so that we can get a fiscal note on it.
That's a proper motion, properly seconded. If you're in favor of moving House Bill 2359 back to budget sub or finance sub, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does anyone wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 40, 54 nays.
Motion fails. Leader Lambert, you're recognized.
All right. So members, obviously there's a substantive amendment that has gone on a bill that potentially has budget implications. This is why y'all can shout at me or give me just a minute to at least address the body. It is completely rewriting the bill. I would ask for just a moment, please, especially from some of the Minority Caucus colleagues. Please allow me to at least finish a sentence before you boo and holler. What I would recommend, if the body would at least consider this, out of respect for one of the longest serving members on this body, I am going to make a motion to at least roll this to the heel of today's calendar to allow a respected colleague to figure out what just happened to his bill since it has been rewritten on the floor. I do not think that is an unreasonable ask, but that is up to y'all. I'm simply explaining that I'm going to make a motion to roll this to the heel of today's calendar to allow the member to determine at least how to go forward. It is his bill. He did bring the bill. Any one of us could be in that spot on any given day. I move to roll to the heel of today's calendar.
That's it. It's all good. I mean, I know we're close to lunch, but we'll get there. We'll get there. It's a proper motion. It's properly seconded. I know there's objection. The motion is to roll House Bill 2359 to the heel of today's calendar. All those in favor vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 70, 25 nays.
Without objection, roll to the Hill. Leader Lambert, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to take up item 53 at this time by Chairman Williams.
Without objection, so ordered. Call next bill, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, that's item 53, House Bill 1951 by Chairman Williams and others relative to criminal offenses. Mr. Speaker, the Senate bill's on the desk.
Chairman Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute conform Senate Bill 1815.
Chairman Williams moves to substitute form of Senate Bill 1815, probably seconded without objection, so ordered. Chairman Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1815 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Williams moves passage of Senate Bill 1815 on third and final consideration, probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call it First Amendment.
House Judiciary Committee Amendment Number 1. Mr. Speaker, it's the same as Senate Amendment Number 1.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment Number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Amendment 2 by Chairman Williams. Mr. Speaker, it was timely filed.
Chairman Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Amendment 2 simply names this bill the Grace Ann Sparks Coercive Suicide Prevention Law of 2026. I move adoption, House Amendment Number 2.
Chairman Williams moves adoption of Amendment Number 2, probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, Representative Pearson on the amendment.
Thank you. Initially, when this bill was written, it had to do with artificial intelligence, the use of technology. And I know there have been a lot of instances where people, individuals, children in particular, have been using AI and tragically have died by suicide. Can you talk about why in this amendment it seems that language was taken out, or if it wasn't, if you could just clarify that?
Chairman Williams on Amendment Number 2.
Thank you. This amendment simply renames the bill. The amendment which rewrote the bill, which was adopted in committee that Chairman Farmer moved to withdraw, is same as the Senate amendment. That language regarding AI was stripped from this language because there was another bill that had to do with AI that was doing it in more thorough fashion than this current bill.
Representative Pearson.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion on Amendment Number 2? Any objection to the question? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting Amendment Number 2, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 94, no nays.
Amendment Number 2 is adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 1951 as amended creates a Class D felony for the offense of coercive suicide. Unfortunately, this subject matter came to me over the summer from a family from my district who had a daughter, of which this bill's named after. Grace Ann Sparks was her name. At 13, she developed an online relationship with an adult male from a different state. Their relationship on this digital media platform was on again, off again, and lasted for many years. Unfortunately for Grace Ann, this person that was on the other side of the chat with her, the video stream, encouraged her to take her life numerous times, to the point where he encouraged her to take her own life with a weapon while on live feed with him. And so this creates a coercive suicide statute. He was convicted of a crime of this crime, however, only was required to do 2 years in prison for coercing her to take her own life. And so this bill seeks to create a coercive suicide statute. We do have in the chamber today Grace Ann Sparks' mother, Candy Sparks, and her sister as well, Hannah Duncan. And so they're here and they've advocated for families like them who have suffered because of this new thing that's going on in the world today. Unfortunately, this bill seeks to take their pain and turn it into purpose. And so we really appreciate them and their So I would appreciate your support so we can protect families all across the state from the pain that they have experienced. Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Williams renews this motion. Any discussion? Representative Sparks.
Thank you, Chairman Williams. Chairman Williams, ironically, that's my grandbaby's name, Grace Sparks. Just seen her yesterday. You know, like Bud Halsey talks about his grandkids. When you have grandkids, you look at life a little differently. You start looking at a legacy. You start worrying about 20 years from now, 30 years from now. But, you know, this also happened to little Rivers Kelleher, Avery Kelleher's daughter that committed suicide back in September. He woke up the next morning and found her daughter hung in her closet. So this is a serious issue, and I know we all take it seriously. So thank you, Chairman Williams, for bringing this legislation.
Any further discussion? Any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1850 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 93, no nays.
Senate Bill 1815 and received a constitutional majority, hereby declare passed without objection. The motion for reconsider is tabled. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, that brings the body back to item 32. Item 32, House Bill 1710, by Chairman Powers, relative to public benefits. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Chairman Powers, you're recognized.
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1915.
Chairman Powers moves to substitute and conform Senate Bill 1915, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of 1915 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Powers moves passage of Senate Bill 1915 on third and final consideration, probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call the First Amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rewrites the bill to defer to the sponsor for further explanation.
Chairman Crawford moves adoption of committee amendment number 1, probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting commitment number 1, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. You adopt the next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Amendment 2, by Representative Jones and Davidson. Mr. Speaker, it was timely filed.
Representative Jones, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To Representative Powers, you're someone I'm going to take a different tone with because I do respect you as a colleague, a friend, and I'm a bit disappointed in this bill. I think that this bill is going to have very detrimental effects on healthcare and public health in Tennessee. As we discussed, I think that people who are undocumented or immigrants are going to be afraid of going to access vaccinations, routine healthcare checks because of having to verify their immigration status, and it's going to hurt us all in our state. As well as my amendment addresses homeless shelters and situations of emergency where people are in natural disaster, not going to get relief that they need. And so I'm not going to give the same speech that I would give to Representative Zachary because I think that he is a much more callous individual.
Representative Jones, sir, hang on. If you're going to go down this road today, we're just going to cut it all off. So either keep on the amendment, do not infer other people, or you will be held accountable today. I ask you, that's the second time, to stop it, or we'll go a different route. Representative Jones, you're recognized.
Again, Representative Powers, I think that you're someone who has compassion and conscience. And so I just want to share something with you. It says, from Leviticus, it says, when a stranger sojourns with you in your land, you shall do no wrong to him. You shall treat the stranger who sojourns with you as the native among you, and you shall love him as yourself, for you were once strangers in the land of Egypt. And this is from Leviticus 19:33-34. That's what I think our faith teaches us, is that we should welcome people who are immigrants and foreigners and not create these unnecessary barriers. And what we're going to hear from this bill is a myth that immigrants are somehow draining state resources for public benefits, when in fact, if we look at the actual data, such as this data from the Immigrant Research Initiative, in 2023, immigrants in Tennessee contributed $4.4 billion in federal, state, and local taxes. $4.4 billion contributed by immigrants in Tennessee, more than 10,000 per immigrant in our state. In fact, 10% of businesses in our state are opened by immigrants. And so what we're going to hear is this mythology that immigrants are a drain, as another representative from Knox County wanted to portray all immigrants and brown people as criminal, as less than human. And I think that one day we're going to have the answer for those things that we say. But right now, I think the facts are telling us that this bill is a problem in search of a solution, Representative Powers. And I hope that you would consider this amendment. I know that you shared that already certain federal programs are exempt, but my concern are homeless shelters, people trying to get access to homeless services. As my constituents, they're not going to go to the homeless shelters. They're not going to go to seek emergency relief in times of natural disaster, nor are they going to go to public health visits, because if they want to go get their children vaccinated or get their children, a physical, they're going to have to put on the system that they're undocumented, and it's going to make people not want to get basic public health care. And so those are my concerns, Representative Powers. Again, and I say this sincerely, I do think you're one of my friends here, and I think we have a difference of opinion, but I hope you would really thoughtfully consider my amendments for your bill, and would consider them for the interest of not just for those who are going to be impacted, but to see that we're all connected in this web when it comes to things like public health and natural disasters, that we all will be connected in those types of struggles. And this is a moment for us to show a little bit of humanity and say that this bill might have some unintended consequences that will harm people if we don't look at we don't look at the rippling impacts of it. And I hope you would consider this amendment and consider it a friendly amendment to a bill that I don't think is too friendly to folks who are undocumented in the state, but I think it is a very common sense amendment by adding those to be exempt, homeless shelters, as well as natural disasters places, and I think I put public health centers as well. Move for adoption.
Representative Jones moves adoption of amendment number 2, probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Leader Lamberth, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question on the amendment.
Previous question be called. Is there objection? No objection. We're on the board. All those in favor of all those in favor of adopting amendment number 2, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 22, 70 nays.
Amendment number 2 fails. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Powers, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And just to answer a couple of questions that were brought up before, the homeless shelters are not included in this. These are only state-run agencies, so homeless shelters and food banks, things like that, and even different agencies that provide like mental health care or emergency health care fall under that federal quality healthcare centers, FQHC. None of those are applied to this. So these are only state benefits only. So I will go on and explain the bill and be glad to answer any questions. But Senate Bill 1915 requires all state and local governments to verify U.S. citizenship or lawful status before providing taxpayer-funded benefits to applicants that are 18 and over, and mandates reporting when status cannot be verified. Currently, taxpayer-funded benefits are not consistently limited to lawful residents, and even uneven enforcement allows some local governments to avoid accountability. Senate Bill 1915 mandates that strict citizenship and lawfully present checks for public benefits at every level of government requires monthly reporting of ineligible applicants and benefit terminations, imposes criminal penalties on officials who knowingly fail to report, and give the Attorney General strong enforcement tools, including withholding state funding against non-compliant local governments and health departments. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Powers renews this motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Currently, for someone to qualify and receive a public benefit like food stamps or TennCare, they have to be a resident of Tennessee and show proof of U.S. citizenship as part of the requirement to gain that benefit. So what are we doing with this bill? What is the purpose when that's already a requirement of getting those benefits? You seem to indicate maybe somebody's not following that, but I think we had TennCare in committee and somebody asked TennCare how many immigrants who are undocumented are receiving TennCare, and they said 0. So what is the purpose of this bill?
Chairman Powers.
That's not always true. I mean, there are people that are getting benefits that we have a $971 million problem with illegals getting some type of benefits in the state of Tennessee. And this bill will allow all state and local governments to verify their lawful status. And they'll also mandate reporting when they cannot be verified. So if someone applies for benefits and they cannot and show their compliance that they are here legally or they're a U.S. citizen, then it will be reported back to the state and furthermore to the Department of Human Services. It's just that all state and local governments are not verifying everyone's citizenship, and this is going to require a monthly reporting to require that.
Representative Johnson.
That figure you gave came from an organization that truly can't be trusted. The reality is that we've already heard that immigrants bring in $4 billion in revenue. Even if the $900 million was factual, they bring in far more revenue than they are costing. But are we not to believe TennCare, who tells us that there's not one single undocumented person on TennCare? Are we going to call them liars and say that we don't believe them? Health workers will need to be trained on understanding the different immigration status when doing their jobs, in addition to taking care for the patient. Will they receive training for this? When will they receive that training?
Chairman Powers.
If you're talking about illegal immigrants that bring in that much money, then they have broken the law as soon as they crossed our border. We live in a sovereign country with borders. And as soon as they walk across that border and they're here illegally, they have broken Title 18 of the U.S. Code. So we are not an extended stay hotel for the rest of the world to come here. You have to come here legally. We support legal immigration. We oppose illegal immigration. So no matter how much money they bring in and no matter how much they bring in as taxpayer benefits, they need to come here legally to do it. And I renew my motion.
Representative Johnson.
That's not how revenue works. What I'm saying, when they bring in this revenue, is working and doing jobs and opening businesses. I'm not saying they're bringing in cash. That's not what revenue. A lot of the businesses in this state bring in revenue. That's legal revenue by opening a business, by working. The reality is those folks are here. They're working hard. Many of them have legal status, even though we're trying to jerk that out from underneath them after they get here and after we've made a promise of being able to be here legally, like refugees and that sort of thing. But the reality is, are we going to train these healthcare workers who have no training in immigration status? When is the training going to happen? How are we going to train them? And this has the risk of health workers potentially racially profiling for fear of being penalized if they don't ask for immigration status. Who will cover the cost of any lawsuits due to racial profiling?
Chairman Powers.
Training is not very hard. I could be trained in 2 minutes on looking for someone's ID, looking for a form of the driver's license, a form of state ID, a form of federal ID, a form of any kind of passport, anything like that, birth certificate. It's not hard to train someone to look at that and see whether or not they are here legally. And we're not talking about people that have legal status. We're talking about people that do not, people that are here illegally, and they should be going back to their country if they've come here illegally. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Representative Powell.
Members, I want to point out an important fiscal impact that all of these bills, and this one particularly also, is creating. So for the first time in many, many decades, the United States is actually experiencing a net international migration deficit. Now, what does that mean? That means that more people are leaving the United States than people that are coming to the United States. The other thing is we're also seeing some of the lowest numbers in new births in our country as well. So we want to talk about how these pieces of legislation impact our children. Well, think about this. For a country to be successful, to have programs that we pay for and that people benefit from, like Social Security, for example, you have to have a growing national population. When you see those decrease, that is going to strain and put even more impacts on future generations to support the next generation. Our entire system is built on increasing our population, not decreasing our population. And to the point of this bill is I'm hearing things from people who are in the health community that are very, very concerned about this bill because they're going to show up at a hospital and they need care and they're going to be sent away. And so you might say, well, that's fine. They're not a citizen. Well, they still carry those health consequences. Think about somebody that has an STD and is going to a local health department to get treated for that STD. They are now turned away, and in fact, there's a chilling effect where they don't even want to go to that public health department. And so then they spread STDs amongst our population in even greater numbers. The other thing is there is a provision in this that deals with emergency health and if somebody's in an emergency healthcare situation. Okay, so let's say someone's having a heart attack and we take care of that person. Well, now they're stabilized and we find out they're a non-citizen. So what are we going to do? We're literally going to discharge these people who have had a heart attack or in recovery at the front doors of the hospital. This isn't the kind of country I want to live in. And this is why, to the point of why our net migration is going down. Because we are one of the only countries in the world that does not take care of all people within that country. And people are choosing to go to places that are more friendly, that aren't targeting immigrants, that are welcoming immigrants. It's like taking the opposite road. And I just want to warn the members, all these bills have a cumulative effect of making our country a place where fewer people want to come to. And historically, we have always been the land of opportunity. We have always been the place that people want to come to. We've always been the place where we will educate the people in our schools. We will take care of people when they show up to a hospital. This is going to burden our system. It's not just a 30-second process to know how to verify these people. And then the other thing is now this is criminalizing. It's moving from civil to criminal penalties so that people are in hospitals where we already have a serious issue with getting good people to work in our healthcare system. Our mental health services are strained. We have doctors who are choosing to not come to our state because of the laws we're passing. And this is just another thing that is going to discourage the exact types of people we want to bring to our state. I challenge anyone in here to find somebody that doesn't want doctors and nurses and health clinicians in our state. And this is creating even more red tape for them. They have to fear for penalty of being a criminal for wanting to take care of each other as human beings. So I'd encourage us to look at that, and happy to hear a response from the sponsor.
Chairman Bowers.
Training someone to check an ID is a very easy process. They do it when you go buy alcohol, when you get on a plane, you have to show ID. There's many other places in this country where you have to show ID, and being trained to do that is not going to be a great burden on anyone in our country or in our state. You know, this is a $971 million problem in the state of Tennessee. And we have people here from all over the country, all over the world, I should say, from Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, whatever, and they need to come here legally. We welcome legal immigrants, but if they come here illegally, then they need to go back. They can get $1,000 and a plane ticket home. If they have an emergency situation, they will be treated and released, and then they, whoever treats them for the emergency has to report at the end of the month that, hey, we treated an illegal person, and that person has a right to go home. Nobody has a right to come into our country illegally. I used to work with a lady that came here from Colombia, and it took her 10 years and $10,000, which is, I'm sure that a lot of you know, is a lot of money in Colombia. But she came here and became a paralegal. Her husband started a construction company. They had 3 children, and I used to work right beside of her. And we were so proud of her, how she did that. We need to make legal immigration easier, and we need to make illegal immigration tougher. And that's the bottom line. We immigrate more than 1 million people in our country every year, and more than any.
Deputy Speaker Zachary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question been called. There's objection. All those in favor of previous question vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. Has every member voted? Any member wish to change? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 73, 20 nays.
Previous question. Previous question prevails. We're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1915 as amended vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 73, 21 nays.
Senate Bill 1915 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare it passed without objection to the most reconsidered table. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1987 by Chairman Eldridge relative to alcoholic beverages.
Chairman Eldridge, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of House Bill 1987 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Eldridge moves passage by second. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Amendment number 2, House Finance Ways and Means Committee Amendment number 1, filed as House Amendment 2.
Chairman Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment rewrites the bill. Move to adopt and defer to the sponsor for further explanation.
Chairman Hicks moves adoption of committee amendment number 2, probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of committee amendment number 2, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. You adopted. The next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Eldridge, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I renew my motion.
Chairman Eldridge renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 1987 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 72, 16 nays, 5 present, not voting.
House Bill 1987 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion to reconsider is tabled. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2085 by Representative Boyd, relative to government finances.
Chairman Boyd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I move House Bill 2085 to the hill of today's calendar?
Without objection, roll to the hill. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
Item 35, House Bill 1916 by Representative Boyd, relative to real estate licenses.
Chairman Boyd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1786.
Chairman Boyd moves to substitute and conform Senate Bill 1786, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1786 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Boyd moves passage of Senate Bill 1786 on third and final consideration, probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call for first amendment.
House Commerce Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Vaughn, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We move to adopt.
Chairman Vaughn moves adoption of committee amendment number 1, probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting committee amendment number 1, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. You adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Boyd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, Senate Bill 1786 makes a targeted adjustment to training and licensing requirements for principal and affiliate real estate brokers dealing with vacation lodging services. It clarifies that those licensees do not need additional classroom hours or separate licenses to manage short-term rentals. Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Boyd renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none. Any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1786 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 89, no nays, 3 present, not voting.
Senate Bill 1786 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion reconsider is tabled. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2253 by Chairman Williams, relative to criminal justice.
Chairman Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the body, this bill 2253 was brought to me by the TBI. It was a bill that sought to close a loophole as it relates to the issuing of licenses for permits to carry a handgun. Unfortunately, the Senate killed a bill with more than 17 red votes, and so this would be unconstitutional to do this. It's a fix that we do need. So with that, Mr. Speaker and members, I move to lay this on the desk. Hold it on the desk.
Without objection, hold on the desk. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2204 by Chairman Williams, relative to compensation of law enforcement officers. Mr. Speaker, Senate bill's on the desk.
Chairman Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This just allows, Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 2177.
Chairman Williams moves substitute and conform Senate Bill 2177, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 2177.
Chairman Williams moves passage of Senate Bill 2177 on third and final consideration, probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call for first amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment number 1, same as Senate Amendment number 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, committee amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this bill was brought to me by Tennessee Highway Patrol which would allow for hazard duty pay designation for our troopers. It's permissive as it relates to the pay. That's all the bill does. And Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Williams renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 2177, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 92, no nays.
Senate Bill 2177 having received constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed by objection. The motion to reconsider is tabled. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2121 by Chairman Williams, relative to education.
Chairman Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of House Bill 2121 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Williams moves passage. Bobby seconded. Mr. Clerk, call the First Amendment.
House Education Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman White, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to adopt and defer to the sponsor for explanation.
Chairman White moves adoption of Committee Amendment number 1. Bobby seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of Committee Amendment number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopt it. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Amendment 2 by Representative Johnson. Mr. Speaker, it was timely filed.
Representative Johnson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What this amendment does, since this bill is actually called the Better Spending, Better Schools Act of 2026, what this does is say that we will apply this to all schools that get public tax dollars, including our private schools that get them through vouchers or ESA. So what this will do will require every school getting public or state tax dollars to create these same reports and get those in. So all it does, it says if spending is important and better spending makes better schools, then every school that gets public tax dollars should be required to report those funds. So I move adoption.
Representative Johnson moves adoption. Amendment number 2. Bobby seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Leader Lambert, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question on the amendment.
Previous question been called on the amendment. Any objection? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of adopting amendment number 2, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Ms. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 21, 70 nays.
Amendment number 2 fails. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill simply requires LEAs to provide a report of last year's spending and a projected spend of next year that is striated so that we can understand not only where state, local, and federal dollars are going into education, but what that money is being spent on, with the idea of those schools that are doing well and performing, we can actually look and see what their percentage of their total spend is in different areas, whether it's central office or administration or educators. So we better have a better understanding. It also allows us to be able, they have to report the grade of that year that the school is graded so that we can compare different schools across the state to get a better understanding of how we're spending revenues across the state. With that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Williams renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 2121 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 86, 4 nays.
House Bill 2121 have received constitutional majority. I hereby declare passed by objection. Motion to reconsider is tabled. Let the journal reflect. Representative Freeman is excused. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 684 by Chairman Farmer and others relative to food assistance. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 879.
Chairman Farmer moves substitute form Senate Bill 879, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Farmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 879 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Farmer moves passage of Senate Bill 879 on third and final consideration. Probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call up First Amendment.
House Health Committee Amendment number 1. Mr. Speaker, it's the same as Senate Amendment number 1.
Chairman Terry, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, what this bill does, it allows for folks that are leaving prison to go ahead and apply for their SNAP benefits. That way, when they get out, they'll be able to eat. So with that, I'm renewing my motion.
Chairman Farmer renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objections to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 879, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 92, no nays.
Senate Bill 879 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed by objection. Motion for reconsider is tabled. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 920 by Representative Scarborough relative to criminal justice.
Representative Scarborough, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of HB 920 on third and final consideration.
Representative Scarborough moves passage by second. Mr. Clerk, call up First Amendment.
House Judiciary Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to adopt.
Chairman Farmer moves adoption of Committee Amendment number 1. Probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting Committee Amendment number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopt. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Representative Scarborough, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 920 mandates judges and magistrates set bail for certain dangerous crimes preventing the release on personal recognizance and unsecured bonds. These crimes are to be included, but not be limited to all Class A and B felonies. Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Representative Scarborough renews the motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 920 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Hill, aye. Slater, aye. McCalman, aye. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 78, 13 nays.
House Bill 920 having received constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed by objection. The motion to reconsider is tabled. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2328 by Representative Langford and others relative to counties. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Representative Langford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 2367.
Representative Langford moves substitute form Senate Bill 2367, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Representative Langford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 2367 on third and final consideration.
Representative Langford moves passage of Senate Bill 2367 on third and final consideration. Probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call it First Amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment number 1. It's included in Senate Amendment number 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection. Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Amendment 2, Representative Langford. Mr. Speaker, it was timely filed.
Representative Langford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to adopt.
Representative Langford moves adoption of amendment number 2, probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're on the board. All those in favor of adopting amendment number 2, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 91 nay.
Amendment number 2 is adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Representative Langford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill would authorize Montgomery and Tipton counties to participate in the land bank program. The Senate has passed this bill, but with an added section concerning maintenance of efforts for Davidson and Shelby County. My amendment would strip that, preserving the original intent of the bill.
Representative Langford renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, all those in favor of Senate Bill 2367 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 79, 11 nays, 1 present, not voting.
Senate Bill 2367 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed by objection. The motion to reconsider is tabled. Leader Lambert, for what purpose?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On item number 42, Representative Baum has been excused today. Roll this to the heel of today's calendar, please.
Without objection, roll to the hill. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, item 43 has already been taken up. We're ready for item 44, House Bill 1516 by Chairman Moon relative to municipal budgets. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Chairman Moon, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1592.
Chairman Moon moves the substitute form Senate Bill 1592 without objection. So ordered. Chairman Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1592 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Moon moves passage of Senate Bill 1592 on third and final consideration. By second, Mr. Clerk, call for First Amendment.
Mr. Speaker, no amendments filed.
Chairman Moon, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill requires that municipalities adopt an annual budget by first day of August. I renew my motion.
Chairman Moon renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Grills.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would you tell me that one more time?
Chairman Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Currently, all counties, as of 2016, when the Budget Act of 1957 was amended by this body, had to file and adopt a budget by August 1st. This just brings municipalities to the same level as counties. Currently, there are 12 cities in the state of Tennessee that have not adopted a budget.
Representative Grills.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Chairman.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. Any objection to the question? Seeing none. Leader Lambert, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You almost pulled a fast one here. Mr. Mayor, is this your last bill on the floor?
Chairman Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, it is.
Leader Lambert.
Thank you for your service, sir. You're a gentleman, a scholar, and it's been an honor to serve with you, and congratulations on, hopefully anyways, passing your last bill.
He was hoping for an encore, I think. Chairman Moon, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I renew my motion.
Chairman Moon renews the motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none. Any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1592, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Ms. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 91, no nays.
Senate Bill 1592, having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare it passed without objection. The motion reads here is tabled. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1677 by Chairman Eldridge and others relative to military, family, occupational licensing. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Chairman Eldridge, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1692.
Chairman Eldridge moves substitute form Senate Bill 1692, properly seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Eldridge.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1692 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Eldridge moves passage of Senate Bill 1692 on third and final consideration. Properly seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
House Commerce Committee Amendment number 1.
Chairman Vaughn, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is one of the finer amendments I've seen this morning, so we move to adopt.
Chairman Vaughn moves adoption of Committee Amendment number 1. Properly seconded. Any discussion of the amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of adopting Committee Amendment number 1 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. You adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Eldridge, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this bill has one simple goal. When our military families get transferred into Tennessee and either the service member or their spouse has a professional licensure, each licensing authority shall prominently display following notice on the licensing authority websites, applications, and related communications. Pursuant to the Military Families Licensing Recognition Act, an active military service member or spouse of an active military service member may qualify for recognition in the state of an occupational license issued by another state. This is to help our military families get back to work, and I'm being told to renew my motion, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman Eldridge renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Powell.
Just one quick question. So if they move from out of state and the qualifications might be different, can they still get the license or would they have to meet those requirements?
Chairman Eldridge.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My understanding of the bill, if they are, say, licensed as a teacher in another state and they get moved up to Fort Campbell, this would help them get their license moved to Tennessee quicker so they can get back in the workforce.
Representative Powell, all good. Any further discussion? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1692 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 91, no nays.
Senate Bill 1692, having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion reads here is tabled. Mr. Clerk, call up next bill.
House Bill 1553 by Representative Lynn relative to nonprofit entities.
Representative Lynn, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of House Bill 1553 on third and final consideration.
Representative Lynn moves passage by second. Mr. Clerk, call the first amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment Number 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rewrites the bill, defer to the sponsor for further explanation. Move to adopt.
Chairman Crawford moves adoption of committee amendment number 1, probably seconded. Any discussion on amendment? Seeing none. All those in favor of amendment number 1, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. You adopt the next amendment. Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Representative Lynn, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill is brought to us by our Secretary of State. He is seeking to simplify the process for when nonprofit organizations are closing down by eliminating 2 fees for them. Ordinarily, when they get to the state where they're shutting down, usually there's no money left in the treasury because they are shutting down. So this will keep the person who's filing that paperwork from having to pay a fee to the Secretary of State's office. It's only an $800 fiscal note, and the Secretary of State feels this will simplify things for the citizens of the state. And with that, Mr. Speaker, with that explanation and pending any questions, I renew my motion.
Representative Lynn renews her motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we are voting. All those in favor of House Bill 1553 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 94, no nays.
House Bill 1553 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed by objection. The motion to reconsider is tabled. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2157 by Leader Lamberth.
Leader Lamberth, you're recognized at your desk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to roll 5 spaces.
Without objection, roll 5 spaces. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2552 by Chairman Williams, others relative to local governments.
Chairman Williams, you're recognized.
And thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of House Bill 2552 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Williams moves passage by second. Mr. Clerk, call the first amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment Number 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, committee amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Finance Ways and Means Committee Amendment Number 1 filed as House Amendment 2.
Chairman Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment rewrites the bill. Move to adopt, defer to the sponsor for further explanation.
Chairman Hicks moves adoption of committee amendment number 2, probably second. Any discussion on amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting committee amendment number 2, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. You adopted. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill creates clear rules for developers and local governments in regards to housing supply and development. It establishes a clear shot clock for local governments to provide permitting for projects. It sets a 2-round deficiency review cap with consolidated feedback. So when I go to get a building permit or your constituents go get a building permit, they have to do it in 2 cycles, and instead of elongating it. Some places across the state, it takes 12, 18 months just to get a building permit. It also clarifies or allows for a professional engineer to certify that the terms of performance and payment bond are met so that the owner can release the bond requirements there sooner. Sometimes bonds will take 14 to 16 months after certificate of occupancy to be cleared from a project for performance and payments. It's a huge cost to developers. That's what the bill does, Mr. Speaker. I renew my motion.
Chairman Williams renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Warner, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, sponsor, for the bill. I definitely support it and going to sign on. It's things like this, it's bills like this, when we cut regulations, cut the blue tape, red tape, whatever you want to call it, that will make housing more affordable in Tennessee. So again, thank you for the work you've done and greatly appreciate it.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of House Bill 2552 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 87, 5 nays, 2 present, not voting.
House Bill 2552 having received constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed by objection. Most reconsider is tabled. Call the next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1844 by Representative Butler and others relative to voluntary surrendering of an infant. Mr. Speaker, Senate bill's on the desk.
Representative Butler, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1773.
Representative Butler moves to substitute conform to Senate Bill 1773, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Representative Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1773 on third and final consideration.
Representative Butler moves passage of Senate Bill 1773 on third and final consideration. Mr. Clerk, call for First Amendment.
House Health Committee Amendment Number 1, same as Senate Amendment Number 1.
Chairman Terry, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment Number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Representative Butler, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This legislation simply addresses some of the legal issues with safe haven and surrendering. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Representative Butler renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1773, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 92, no nays, 1 present, not voting.
Senate Bill 1773, having received the constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion reconsiders table. Call next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1906 by Representative Scarborough and others relative to credible service for period of disability. Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill's on the desk.
Representative Scarborough, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move substitute and conform to Senate Bill 2017.
Representative Scarborough moves to substitute conform to Senate Bill 2017, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Representative Scarborough.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 2017 on third and final consideration.
Representative Scarborough moves passage of Senate Bill 2017 on third and final consideration, probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call for First Amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment Number 1, same as Senate Amendment Number 1.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Similar to the Senate amendment, move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment Number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Representative Scarborough, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This legislation allows members subject to mandatory retirement to receive retirement credit for periods of disability at no cost to the member. I renew my motion.
Representative Scarborough renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 2017, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 94, no nays.
Senate Bill 2017, having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare it passed without objection. The motion reconsiders on the table. Call next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1967 by Representative Stevens and others relative to leaving the scene of an accident. Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill's on the desk.
Representative Stevens, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1602.
Representative Stevens moves to substitute form Senate Bill 1602, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Representative Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1602 on third and final consideration.
Representative Stevens moves passage of Senate Bill 1602 on third and final consideration, probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call it First Amendment.
House Judiciary Committee Amendment Number 1.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move it to the Hill.
Without objection, move to the Hill. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
House Amendment 2 by Representative Stevens. Mr. Speaker, was timely filed.
Representative Stevens, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment is the same as the committee amendment. It just corrects the name of the person that we're naming it after by naming it the James Bardley Jr. Life Protection Act. And with that, I move adoption.
Representative Stevens moves adoption of amendment number 2, probably seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of amendment number 2, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 92, nays, 1 present, not voting.
Amendment number 2 approved. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, that brings us back to Judiciary Committee Amendment Number 1.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Representative Stevens, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In September 2021, Jimmy Bardsley was riding his motorcycle home from work. He was hit by a driver who drove away. They found him 29 hours later. The driver of the vehicle that hit Jimmy received a sentence for a hit and run. He served just a fraction of a sentence, which was just a few months, and it was really an injustice. Jimmy's mother is here with us today, Miss Kim Webb, and she has been advocating for this bill. She has been coming to committee meetings and sharing her story about how this has affected her and how we should work to increase the penalties on this proliferation of hit and run accidents. And so I wanted to thank her for coming again today for this. Also, Also, several bicycle clubs, Families for Safe Streets. They have a friend named Blaise Schaefer who was hit on his bicycle, and the driver of the vehicle that hit that person has not been found. A friend named Chuck Isbell, who he lost his son Nate in an accident. It was not a hit and run, but this is just a proliferation of accidents that are hit and run cases that just seems to be going up, up, up. People have been contacting me. They're coming out of the woodwork to say that they've lost a loved one or they've had a hit and run accident. So we've got to do something about this. I'd hope that this bill could be a little bit more expansive to increase the penalties more, but the fiscal restraints were just too much. However, with this pared down version, what the bill does is it sets a mandatory minimum sentence when there's a hit and run accident and the victim dies of 1 year. And it also has a mandatory fine of $5,000 to $10,000. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Representative Stevens renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1602 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 94, no nays.
Senate Bill 1602, having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion reconsider is tabled. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2026 by Chairman Williams, relative to land surveying monuments. Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill's on the desk.
Chairman Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move substitute conform to Senate Bill 1814.
Chairman Williams moves substitute conform Senate Bill 1814. Probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1814 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Williams moves passage of Senate Bill 1814 on third and final consideration. Probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call it First Amendment.
House Judiciary Committee Amendment number 1, same as Senate Amendment number 1.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Committee Amendment 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill was brought to me by Tennessee Association for Professional Surveyors. Ironically, it's not illegal for you to move property corners. This would just make it a misdemeanor offense if you moved somebody's property corners on their property. With that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Williams renews the motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1814, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 91, no nays, 2 present, not voted.
Senate Bill 1814 having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion reconsider is tabled. Leader Lamberth, for what purpose?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, you've been hard at it all morning, and at this time, I would move we take a recess until 1:45 today. Recess until 1:45.
Without objection, so ordered.